Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live. We are live again. It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. That means we're coming in with AEW Dynamite, but it's a bit of a heavy day in the wrestling world. It's been a tough day. There's obviously, as you can see on the screen, if you didn't know, Jay Briscoe did pass away yesterday. And the wrestling community is just overwhelmed with it all right now, folks. But with all that being said, we are going to go through AEW Dynamite tonight. We're on a couple minutes early because we do anticipate something to kick off the show right away as far as acknowledging the situation with Jay and his family. But before we get into this one, guys, light up the chat. Join us tonight. We're going to talk wrestling. We're going to talk a little bit about life. It's going to be a little bit of a different vibe here on the stream, as you can anticipate. But you know what? Nick's here. I'm here. And we're going to make the best of it. And the show goes on, folks. So stay tuned, enjoy, and we'll be back. Let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We are live. And I tripped my wire. But we are live as we always are. And we're back at it again. We are the Wrestling for Life Network. I am Mr. Every Night KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube. I'm joined by my partner in crime, the other half of my dynamic duo, everyone's best friend, Big Nick. How are you, sir?
Like you kind of touched on there in the intro and everything, it's just been an emotional roller coaster and everything. I'd say tonight is just kind of more of a celebration of life. We're watching some wrestling, trying to, I guess, pay respects to Jay. Obviously, something that he gave his whole career to, been in it since he was 16 years old.
Life, man.
So, and I think we all could use a little distraction from the news, I feel.
Absolutely. And, we do the best we can here. We found out the news live last night, so it obviously changed the direction of, the NXT coverage last night, folks. And a lot of you guys were live for that. So thank you for being here. I see the chat filling up. I see viewers starting to come in. Folks, let everyone we're going to take in the show tonight. We're going to talk a lot of Jay. I know over the last 24 hours, 12 to 18 hours, actually.
Yeah.
Taken in a lot of content with Jay Briscoe, and you and I, we talked about it last night, where we legitimately followed the Briscoes around, like as far as our coverage goes. If they were going to be on a card, we were covering it, period. That's how it was.
Absolutely. There was countless layouts and thumbnails and everything that we had of, like we were just saying there, of if they were going to be on a pay-per-view, we made sure that weekend, whenever it aired, what have you, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we were going to be on stream watching it and everything, because you didn't want to miss them.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I mean, as far as coming on live, I mean, you've seen a lot of people talk about the positions they're in as well, and including the show. But the show does go on. And anybody that knew Jay has come out and said, that he's not the type of guy that wants all this attention right now. Like, it wasn't his thing. They very humble and had a whole ton of humility. So, yeah, I mean, overall, dude, it's just. Again, it's been an interesting day, and there hasn't been many, at least over the last little while, like kind of moments like this where it kind of really took me back for a second. And I think I related a lot to the scenario, and we talked about it before we came on stream. So, we're going live.
Yeah, they just had a moment of silence for Jay before they went into the intro video, so I guess I'll kind of do that right now.
Oh, okay. Mine didn't come on yet.
So I have Dynamite kicking off right now. So they did do a moment of silence and everything. At least they pulled up a graphic for Jay.
Yep.
And like you were just saying there, if we don't know if we're like, I don't think Jay's family would have been ones that really want, a huge ceremony and everything like that. And especially when everybody's just still trying to deal with everything that's been going on. Like, it's his brother's birthday today. We had his wife already putting a post out for prayers for their kids who were in the car with Jay. So it's a lot of almost, we'll just kind of take it in and just, like you said, this is a celebration of life. This is still, show must go on. I hate using that terminology thanks to Vince, but at the end of the day, we're pro wrestling fans.
No, that's it. I mean, that's how we're gonna roll. I mean, we'll talk a lot about Jay as the show goes on, as the chat's starting to fill up with some comments about Jay. And I mean, dude, I mean, you can't deny how good the Briscoes were. But beyond that, I mean, I think I messaged you last night after the stream, and it was, that video of him dancing with his daughter. It broke me because I have a little girl. I'm the same age as Jay. Like, it throws you off, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, that's the thing, is you even go on his pages or whatever, and it's his stuff about his family. It's not him of, look at how many stars I got, from Meltzer, or look at this match, look at that highlight. No, it's him messing around with his kids. It's him at their, cheerleading meets and all of that shit. Like you said, that video of him dancing with his daughter, doing the whole cheerleading routines going around. He was truly not only a great pro wrestler, a great human being, but a great father.
Yeah. And that's the most important part. And again, you talk about Mark; those two were joined at the hip. There wasn't many times that anybody saw one without the other. And
Right.
I know a lot of people have spoke about Jay for obvious reasons, but I think everyone out there has to give a lot of love to Mark right now. I mean, I can only imagine what he's going through. We talked about Jay's wife. I mean, not only is she dealing with the loss of her partner, but now she's got 2 injured children, and it's you're hoping that everything works out, and it's hard enough to deal with that loss, but you have everything else going on all at the same time. So the wrestling community is amazing. You've seen all the love across the board: Twitter, Instagram, everybody coming out doing interviews and putting out videos, and there's so many people that have pictures with the Briscoes. Like, they blew my mind at how many people had, like, this was the night with them. Like, they were just everybody's buddy.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
amazing to see.
Yeah, they were constantly throughout. They're the greatest tag team in pro wrestling. I'll put it that way. Not in AEW, not in WWE. They're the greatest tag team in pro wrestling because they were everywhere in pro wrestling. And to be doing it for 22 plus years, and now most of the top guys in both major companies have been through Ring of Honor. So, like Seth said, there wouldn't be a Seth Rollins if it wasn't for Jay Briscoe.
Yeah.
I know Sami Zayn put something out about when he was together with them. Obviously, Dax and Cash have put a ton of stuff out. I know KO has put stuff out. So they've, for a tag team that never stepped foot, for a wrestler that never stepped foot in WWE, to be universally loved by every pro wrestling fan, it's heartwarming to see.
Yeah. Now the match, just if everyone's watching along at home, we have Jay Lethal in the ring with Orange Cassidy. We had this long drawn out entrance as Jarrett came down and sat in the audience. I guess because they're banned from ringside. I don't know.
He bought tickets. Well, if anything, he might have just, been giving them. But
man, wouldn't it suck if you were sitting behind Singh?
Yeah. Like, someone move the fucking skyscraper, please. I'd like to see the match.
Yeah, excuse me, sir.
Right. Excuse me. Can you sit down, sir? Oh,
Yeah.
Here comes Danhausen, the security guard, saying, "Oh, you don't have a seat. You need to sit down."
Yeah, an interesting start to this show, and I really thought. I mean, we got the moment of silence. And I don't know. Maybe I was expecting just a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see what the rest of the night holds.
We'll see.
It's early.
Well, it's early, and like I said, a lot of people are still, because it is so fresh and all of that, that people are kind of trying to still comprehend everything and soak it in.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
As now we're taking time during the match, as actually, it was the best friends who were in the wrong seat. So now we're getting a seat change. So imagine the front row having to deal with the best friends scraping past them. Excuse me. This is pro wrestling, folks.
This is an interesting start to the show.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about this.
So if you want to give us your predictions, folks, we do have Jay Lethal versus Orange Cassidy for the All-Atlantic Championship, I believe. And so far, the main focus of the match has been Jeff Jarrett and Sanjay and the best friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Couldn't we have started out with something else? Even a promo tonight, and then whoever was doing the promo could at least acknowledge the situation. I don't know. I just don't think.
But again, you still have to take into account the family's wishes and everything.
That's very true as well. Correct.
I do like this though. Where's your tickets, Hausen?
That's just silly.
Oh,
sorry, dude.
No, you're good.
For Jay Briscoe, rest in peace. May his daughters get well soon. Absolutely. You click.
Yeah, I don't want to touch on that one. I get what you're saying, but I don't want to
I'll touch on that one. I got no problem with that.
Fair enough. Let me get through this then. A great match that is being shadowed by shenanigans. AEW Thunder. JV, you took the words right out of my mouth. But go ahead. You touch.
Yeah, we'll see how the match turns out right now. And if you guys haven't made a prediction, get your prediction.
I've got Lethal doing the Ric Flair strut. Sorry.
I was like, we got Ric Flair. Oh shit.
We will on Raw.
How crazy that we go Hogan and Flair.
Oh, and it's Raw XXX. So it's just not. It has not good written all over it.
See money. Wear your seatbelt, folks. You know what? When I read that is very true and very valid. Take precautions. However, I think my buddy had a good point of the person who also passed away in the other vehicle was wearing a seatbelt. So yes, give yourself a fighting chance. Always wear a seatbelt. I'm not advising you against it, but for people who are critical, and I said it to you, Nick. I'm like, how many times did I just I got to just run up to the store. I got to go get something, or whatever. You just kind of zoom up, and I might not do it. Right? I don't know. And it's not advised because you never know when you're going to need it. So, but
Right.
It can go either way. Shoulda, coulda, wouldas. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. So, I really don't want people to focus on that kind of finite detail in this. At the end of the day, people lost a husband, a son, a father, brother, and the list goes on.
So, yeah, like I said earlier, the Briscoes may not be everybody's cup of tea, but that's because they're a shot of whiskey, hard to swallow and way more impactful.
Yeah. And I think they preferred it that way. So
right.
There you go. Juice has to put the seatbelt on. Okay. Jeff Jarrett coming through the crowd. Yeah, I don't know. People were giving them a lot of praise, but Jeff Jarrett and crew. But I think I think
the only one giving them praise is Cornette. Orange Cassidy with a counter on Jay Lethal. I think the match that steals the show tonight is Jake Hager versus Ricky Starks. That's interesting show.
Okay.
Can tell you what, it's not going to be this match. As OC's right now just wailing Lethal's head in the turnbuckle. The best. So everyone knows the seating arrangement because they've made sure to make us aware of that. If the best friends are sat behind Jeff Jarrett and Satnam and Sanjay, and they've got tall beers and buckets of popcorn.
Yeah, I think if I'm going to be the grumpy old guy on the porch, I think what bothers me the most in this scenario is just that. All right, you're going to do something gimmicky and funny and goofy, like the switching of the seats, fine. Then you do another gimmick spot. Then you do another gimmick spot. Like, dude, hat on a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat. It's like, fucking hell. Pick one. You guys get to put all your ideas in a hat. Each match, you get to pick one out and do that one for this match. You can't do all of them tonight, guys.
Exactly. Well, and it's just, when did this whole segment or this whole group, all of these wrestlers, this whole group, this whole situation just become so much of a fucking 3-ring circus of we've got to have, not only do we have Orange Cassidy with his whole little shtick and everything, but then throw in Danhausen as well. And
Yeah,
then, hey, give them Satnam and Sanjay and all of that. Bring in Jeff Jarrett. Have, gimmicks after gimmicks after gimmicks. It just becomes too goddamn much.
yeah, and I think it was JV that said, like, I mean, all in all, when they are wrestling, the action's pretty good. Jay Lethal's a vet, can go. Orange Cassidy can go. We know it. We've seen it.
Right.
Oh,
Oh,
he does the walk away.
lethal injection.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
no, C rolls out. See, that's actually smart wrestling from Orange Cassidy of, the baby face. Oh, we just made it just to roll out. When do you see that happen in wrestling now? Of hits a big cutter, hits a big move or whatever, and they roll out of the ring. So, haha, you can't cover me. I'll win the title by count out.
wrestling deaths, I try to forget. It's almost been 3 years and I'm still denial about Brody. Yeah, listen, man. It's, I mean, I think there's such an intimacy with wrestling where we talk about it's different than just, other things. It's very akin to, the love people have for their favorite team and favorite athletes. It's no different. And I mean, again, like I said, you and I, like we would follow the Briscoes around to watch them because we were such big fans. And it literally you blows your mind when you're like, shit, it's been 20 years, right? They were on the first one and they're still here doing it, right? Like,
Right.
amazing.
Well, and especially with when it's guys like the Briscoes. Yeah, I saw the finish. We'll get there in a second, but it's guys like the Briscoes, like I've even said with guys like Eddie Kingston. Brody Lee was one of his guys that you just naturally relate to. Like everybody knows 10 guys that are like Jay Briscoe. Christ, some of us feel like we are similar to that and everything. He was, the underdog king and everything like that, the underdog underground king. So to have somebody like that go, it just hits twice as hard home.
Yeah, man. And we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier before we came on. By the way, Orange Cassidy got the win.
There's
Danhausen
no,
stole the guitar.
yeah,
Masal's still running around. Overbooked as fuck.
yeah, I don't even want to talk and acknowledge
Completely.
all of that we just saw there of Danhausen running around with a guitar, jamming out. We have popcorn
Wait,
celebrations.
the Giants in the ring.
Yeah, Satnam finally did something.
Oh,
How has Jeff Jarrett gotten so much? Oh, and Sanjay's holding back Jeff with the guitar. But how has Jeff Jarrett gotten this much TV time?
I think someone in the chat just said that. I was trying to find that comment actually because I wanted to speak to it. Oh, right there. John, yeah, welcome back, by the way, and welcome to everybody. I know we haven't kind of run through our usual kind of vibe or the usual hi, everybody, but hi, everybody. I hope everyone is
Yeah,
well. You guys are feeling okay, happy, healthy, and safe. And thank you for joining us as always. But Jeff Jarrett gets way too much TV time in a company that says they can't find enough TV time. Like, this is bad.
this is dark. This is dark elevation. This is at best rampage. Why is this kicking off your primetime show?
Overbooked to all hell. So, like, Jeff Jarrett makes his big return to wrestling and he wants to harass best friends in Orange Cassidy. You can't find a young, athletic heel to take on Orange Cassidy that we might enjoy watching. Like, look, give fucking Brandon Cutler a match. I don't give a shit. Like, we
This
don't have anybody.
it stenches of like new generation pro wrestling of like the 80s, 90s, just gimmick to all shit of Duke the Dumpster Drozy, Bastion Booger, all of that bullshit. Of we've got Danhausen, Orange Cassidy, the best
Mhm.
friends of we've got dudes in tie dyes, we've got a giant, we've got Jeff Jarrett swinging guitars, never drew a dime, all of that crap, and it's just is it meant for children or something? I don't get it. It doesn't work for me being I guess a middle-aged male.
No, definitely doesn't ding. And I
Pause.
mean, yeah, pause. But like I said, I'm okay. You're gonna do the whole shtick where they're banned from ringside, so they sit in the seats. Fine, I'm behind it. Kind of cute, right? Danhausen coming down. All right, everybody loves Danhausen. He's a living gimmick. So what can you say?
Right.
And then on a quick side note, I'm getting the package for Darby and KUSHIDA. Which, yeah,
Absolutely. That's going to be a match of the night, I feel.
absolutely. That's
JD
my
saying
vote.
it's carny as fuck.
Yeah,
Scott
carny as fuck.
disagreeing, saying it was a fun match.
Scott, it's not, but it's not that fun. Like, I'm not. There's parts of it that are fun, but then I'm like, all right, can we just wrestle a little bit? Like, I don't know. They're two good wrestlers. Let them fucking wrestle.
Right. And I'll touch on this of Darby Allin versus Kushida is the main event. Why? Because it makes perfect sense. If it's a TNT championship match, it's going to be a good match. It's you're bringing somebody in that's outside talent, so you make them seem big because you put them in the main event, and you're getting your title over, your mid card title over, because you're
Oh,
not going to have MJF out there and defend it. So you might as well have your mid card title main event the show.
yeah, and
What
don't
would
sleep.
you have go over that, Victor, on the card tonight? Would you have be the main event besides that?
I think. I think you're. I mean, I think this is his suggestion. I mean, Danielson, Bandito, but I do always kind of like that if you're going to have a title match and you want us to believe the titles mean something, put them in the main event spot. I mean, again, Darby Kushida, is that going to keep the audience? We'll find out. We'll see how the ratings go for the last bit of this, but
I think Darby's over, especially after his win over Joe.
yeah.
He's back over again, and the whole Sting situation. But as I've got the Young Bucks right now coming out,
I feel
so
bad. I don't even like the look of their face.
well, and
I'm
but
not
so
that
when we talked
person.
about people that this has
Love 'em.
got to be interesting for of there is still is a ton of history between the Briscoes and the Young Bucks. So for
Yep.
Matt and Nick to as much as I may dislike a lot of their shit,
Yeah.
for them to be going out there and having this match right now, this has gotta take a bit of a toll.
100%, Nick, and definitely on point with that. They had countless matches. Many people would say some of the matches they had were some of the most historic tag matches ever, but they definitely had a long-standing rivalry, a long-standing working partnership with the Briscoes. So yeah,
They're
I'm
another team
sure.
that's synonymous with Ring of Honor as well.
Yeah,
That whole Ring of Honor at one point had FTR, um, the Young Bucks, and Briscoes at the same time, I believe.
yeah. So and again, Tony's favorite tag team, Top Flight, getting a match every single fucking week. Every week we get Top Flight, and that's not good booking. And I don't want to see them every fucking week. My shit is.
So wait, so then the Bucks are very clearly the heels in this match, but weren't they the baby faces in the feud with
No,
Death
they weren't.
Triangle?
That's the fucked up part. The baby faces were using a hammer to cheat to the point where the heels had to demand no DQ. What the fuck?
Right. And I get it's going back to, well, you don't need baby faces and heels all the time. Okay, Vince Russo.
You need them
Um,
sometimes.
yeah, you do need them at sometimes, especially when they're the top guys in one of your divisions.
Yeah, no, it gets really. Listen, splitting your audience is never great. You want the audience to be the best moments. It's like why when a team scores a goal in overtime in their home building or a walk off in their home, it's the home crowd goes banana sandwich. When you get all, when 90% of the people in the building lose their goddamn mind for something,
Oh,
that's the moment. When they're always kind of split down the middle, where half of them are like, "Oh shit, that wasn't so good." You know what I mean?
right. And so give us your prediction if you want for this
Yeah.
match, folks. I'm actually going to surprisingly, and to a shock to probably anyone that's been here for a hot minute, I'm going to take the Young Bucks in this. Um, just on the simple fact they both have an armband on that says Heart J and everything. So they do have something as a tribute to Jay on their attire.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's funny because we didn't really mention it in the first match, but even somebody like Jay Lethal, who was a staple in Ring of Honor as well. But yes, I think the Bucks are going to take this W. Top Flight, they'll do a bunch of cool stuff that everyone cheers for, but they'll ultimately take the W.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree with that, sir. Folks, get your predictions in. Let us know who you're taking tonight between the Young Bucks and Top Flight. And I think we were kind of touching on this before this all kicked off in the sense of booking.
Ooh.
I think there's a lot of talented wrestlers on the bench when you're overbooking,
Zero.
maybe not the best of people to overbook. Does my opinion of Top Flight mean they suck? No. I just mean they're young. You need a gradual build. We shouldn't, because he did this to Dante when his brother got injured, where they just shoved him down our throat, and then he faded off because he's like a fucking firecracker. Psst. All right, and then
Right.
forget about him. You can't overpush a team that's not quite ready for it. And again, you got Jeff Jarrett taking up a ton of TV time. Miro, Andrade, FTR decided to take a sabbatical because they're not getting booked well. Like, Christ.
Oh, absolutely. Larry says I like Top Flight, but I see Bucks winning and Scott taking Top Flight because as I'm in Minnesota, as we're in picture right now, or at least I am.
Yes.
Bucks Swanton Bomb for the win. Alexander, what up? Okay, KJ, here's an idea for you. Takes today's AEW and rebook it how you think it should be and make it a segment. I'm confused.
Like just out of the top, or like rebook what they had. I mean, you can book Orange Cassidy and Jay Lethal in a match. Just keep all the fucking shenanigans down to a minimum. Don't overbook it. Let them have a good match. You want a couple funny spots. You want to slip a Danhausen in there for a couple seconds, fine. But when your match in the ring completely stops and the focal point of what's going on is a bunch of clowns switching seats, I don't like it. That's that. Now, if I was going to rebook it any other way, I mean, the sky's the limit. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes what's going on in the ring seem like a joke when you're taking, like you said, that much time and attention away from it for basically a joke in the crowd.
And like I said, it was just hat on hat, like joke on joke on joke on joke. And some people are going to say, I know, no, I have no problem with Scott having a different opinion. But to me, it stops being funny, right? It's like when you're clowning somebody and you kind of look over and they're like, okay, enough. And you keep going a little too much. And they're like, dude, it's not funny anymore. Shut the fuck up. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Well, and like you were saying here, as Small Mark agrees with you about Top Flight being oversaturated and all of that. And John saying, good evening, KJBN, pause, and CJ, wherever he may be. Absolutely. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the brothers from another mothers. But I think those go hand in hand of that with situations being overbooked, like the gimmicky, corny stuff is overbooked as well. So you could get a chuckle, ha ha ha, if that's the one time you saw it that week, that month, like,
yeah.
First time in a while, what have you. But when it's all the time and it's 10 of those segments in one match, or it's a certain tag team or a wrestler on every segment of the show or in a match every week on both shows, then it becomes all right, too much. Too much of a good thing.
Yeah. Valid. All right. My stuff came back on. But
right now I have Matt Jackson and Dante in the ring. Ooh.
Yeah, I might be wavering on my original comment because I may have let this one slip my mind, but this is truly a banger in the making. And I said this the other night when they announced this, Nick. I really want to watch it. I want everybody to pay attention to Bandito tonight. And you let me know if he was going at full tilt and doing everything he could against Chris Jericho when everyone said Jericho and Bandito had such a wonderful match. And I said bullshit from day one. There's no fucking way that was a good match. I think tonight, where Bandito can put pace and he can actually, go all out, it's going to be a different story. Bandito,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's with Chris Jericho, it's the mind is willing, but the body isn't able. That's really what it is. I feel like Chris knows what he's trying to do in the ring. It might be a little Hoganish, a little bit of hot dogging and grandstanding and all of that, but he just can't physically do it anymore at the level that he thinks he can.
No, not at all. Like it's delusions of grandeur. It really
Right.
is. And yeah, I mean, it's straight up. It's bullshit. A lot of cases with Jericho nowadays, and he believes his own hype. He thinks his own his own farts smell like roses. Like there's nothing he can do wrong. Even when he does do wrong, it was, I got a light in my eye. There's some overt excuse, or it wasn't his fault, or it's someone else. And yeah,
Right.
Jericho's really. I've really soured on Jericho over the last year or so now, and I know a lot of people here know that.
Sorry, I had Darius Martin just going through House of Fire right now on both Young Bucks right now, a Spanish Fly and a Matt Jackson for a 2 count. And I guess, by the way, also shout out the kicks that the Young Bucks have on for any sort of sneakerheads out there. But anyways, where were we at here?
I have no idea.
No, you're good. Right now, super kick from Nick Jackson. But yeah, Bandito versus Daniel Bryan is going to be a hell of a match, 100%.
I completely agree, man. I really, really do.
Bridge up out onto Dante. Oh, we've got Dante set up for the tombstone. Oh, they break up the Meltzer driver.
Oh, poor Meltzer.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about Meltzer.
I'll let you have that when you get back. But yeah, so folks, if you haven't already, give me a Dante with a moonsault onto the outside onto Nick. Weird talking about a wrestler with the same name as me, but anyways, right now Darius has got Matt Jackson up. Oh wow! 1, 2. That's a hell of. I wish I had it turned up a little bit more so I could hear what that was called, but it was springboard. It was almost like a lethal injection from a doomsday position. But if anybody can help me out with the name of that move, I'll appreciate it. They're fact checkers. Have mercy. I guess shout out Bobby. Ian Riccaboni should do commentary for Bandito and Bryan. Honestly, I think Ian Riccaboni should be a regular commentator when it comes to AEW. I know, again, like we call ourselves the alternative commentary and all of that because you don't want to listen to guys like Kevin Patrick or personally, Excalibur. So why not have somebody when you have like Nigel McGuinness or Canadian Destroyer from Nick Jackson onto Darius for a 2 count? Wow. When you have guys like Riccaboni, like Nigel McGuinness, like Mauro Ranallo out there, why not use them? But goddamn, this has been a hell of a match. This is full 180. I've never been more happy to see a Young Bucks match, I feel, until this palate cleanse compared to the bullshit we just saw between Orange Cassidy and Jay Lethal involving Jarrett and all of that crap. But even the crowd right now is saying this is awesome. And I don't know if it's just because I'm emotional because of the past 24, 10, 12 hours, I feel like. But I'm actually enjoying a Young Bucks match. Mark this moment down in history, I feel. It was called the Powerbomb Moonsault. Thank you, Victor. I feel like there was an added, like, kind of cutter element into that, but Doomsday Device and broken up for a 2 count. There will be nods to the Briscoes in the ring for sure, and I think the Doomsday Destroyer. God, why am I blanking on that name so hard? I think was very much a kind of, if you know, tribute to the Briscoes, as that looked sloppy as hell a little bit because we just had a double super kick on Dante, but he was already going up for a springboard. Nothing of what was he going to do? Anyone that is watching this right now, what was he going to do when he jumped out there? He like intentionally just got to fall into the spot for the super kick. I get it, but don't make it so goddamn obvious. Oh, and the Jacksons need each other. Both went going for that cross V trigger, and Darius with the roll up for a 3 count on Matt Jackson. So I think everybody except for Scott's taking an L on this one. I really would have thought they would have. Well, and it's also the Young Bucks. It's their company. I would have felt like they would have gone over, but I'm surprised that they gave Top Flight the win. I mean, maybe they're gearing Top Flight for a tag title push. Maybe. I feel like we've seen that though already. Jackson, that was a surprise. Yes. And see, Scott, I shouted you out. Top Flight won. You were right. Outside FTR, assuming they go to WWE, how many tag teams are there in AEW outside of the Gun Club and the Acclaimed that can't use trios and must have been featured in AEW? This is why we need Top Flight. Well, you're getting incredibly specific there. You're like, well, if I take out so and so and so and so, and also anyone that did so and so and so and so, then how many do we have left? If you don't, I get your overall point of there isn't. I still feel like there is a ton of tag teams in AEW. They just don't use them that correctly. For somebody that's supposed to have tag team wrestling geniuses as EVPs. But yeah, I see your point, but I feel like you kind of put a lot of extra stipulations onto that. But I am in commercial right now, folks. So I will just, I guess, take a moment to say, like and subscribe to the video. How you doing, everybody? I normally am not, speaking of the devil, but I was going to just say I'm normally a little bit more, you're muted, but a little more whiny and a little energetic, but it's a little heavy-hearted tonight being out here and everything.
Am I still?
No, you're good.
All right. I jumped the gun. I started to speak before it clicked.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, thank you for being here, folks. As always, thank you for joining us. It's been an interesting, couple streams here, but trying to get through it. We're working through. It's still a good night of wrestling. I cannot believe Top Flight just went over on the Bucks. Nobody expected that at all. So, Nick, I mean, we saw the match. The night kind of open off on a light foot, which is probably by design. You follow that up with the Bucks, and we know the history with the Bucks and the Briscoes, and the Bucks go under. Maybe it's partly, we're not a tag team anymore. We're trios.
Yeah, and well, I'll give you that fair credit on that of maybe opening the show with something that's a little bit lighter, a little bit more meant to just have you fucking chuckle at it, some brain dead bullshit to throw out there.
Yeah, that's accurate.
With everything that's been going on, I could see you can have that. Not even what I'm mad at. I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. The Bucks actually put a team over. I'm shocked. Yeah, I mean, dude, where did we see that coming from? Justin, welcome to the stream. Charisse as well.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? We know I don't play that game.
Mucho cerveza, por favor. I hope I said any of those right. I hope so.
Yeah, cerveza was all I learned when I went. Cerveza was all I learned. That was all I needed. Right. Nash, yeah, Victor Nash did call Top Flight. That's kind of crazy.
I called it because it was a tag match, not a trios match. Fair enough. Well, I know Scott did too as well. And where was it? See money here. Bucks handpicked Top Flight from the Indies. They wouldn't put anybody else over but them. See FTR. Well, the only person Chris Jericho has put over is Action Andretti. So
he didn't put him over though. See, guys,
he put him over and then buried him right after the fact.
Yeah, just because you let a man win or a woman win doesn't mean you put him over. Jericho left that ring over. Like, as far as how that situation played out. Yeah, Andrade got the surprise win, but it's the same thing. I mean, when 1-2-3 Kid, rolled up Scott Hall, he ran out of the ring and celebrated. That's getting over. He's in the crowd. Woo, look what I did. Not, right. Oh my God. And then gets his face set on fire for his efforts. In addition.
Yeah, he caught the fireball. He caught the wizard special there. But
the wizard special.
The gun's coming out right now. Instead of the shiniest wizard, it's the dullest wizard.
Yeah, and just on a quick side note, because the guns made me think. I think if you guys are fans of wrestling, which you should be because you're here, if you guys want to check out something that I think is going to be very emotional and heartfelt, when Dax is going forward with his next episode of his podcast, I have no doubt as authentic and passionate and as connected to the Briscoes as FTR were, or are. Without a doubt, I think that's an episode not to miss.
Oh, absolutely. If you want to hear somebody that truly was extremely close to Jay, that has nothing but love in his heart for Jay, absolutely. That's something you want to tune into. And it's got to be extremely difficult for him to even try and do that right now too.
Mm-hmm. What does the one ass boy have tattooed in his armpit? What is that?
Now you got me. Why you want me to look at this man's armpit? But I like
Well,
that.
I didn't want to look at it either, but it looked like he had like fallen in mud. I don't know what it is.
Well, JV was asking me about name of tag team. Oh, he said outside of the Gun Club. What I was about to say, well, there's the Gun Club, all of that.
What happened? Well, they broke up.
To me, they just need to be. They're a Dark Elevation top act, but saved by the Acclaim. And I'll give them credit. The Gun Club's cut their music, just freaking the crowd in the ring.
Right. Listen, they're getting a good amount of heat. I think the one gun is really good on the mic. The other one's kind of the quieter of the two.
You can tell Austin, how over they are that we don't know which one's which.
Yeah, Austin and Brooks and
Dallas. I'm just gonna start naming cities in Texas. Austin, Houston, Dallas. What?
But that's a way to get heat. Shut down the Acclaim.
Oh, they try to, but
son of a bitch.
Max is spitting.
Listen. I can kind of hear yours.
You only got a job because your dad works here.
Because your dad works here.
Oh!
What?
I don't know if I want
I'm getting it now.
I'll repeat it. You're the worst kids since Hunter Biden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like that shit.
Billy Gunn's sons, better known as the Ass Boys. The Acclaimed are... Goddamn, they're over.
Yeah, no, they're super over, dude. And I know... I mean, there was that time where I was gently nudging you of like, these guys are doing it. Like,
right.
This started out stupid, but then people started waiting for punchlines. And the minute you kind of have them waiting for punchlines, let's see what you can do with it. And they've done well with it, man. They got themselves over organically. And now here we are.
But I feel like now that's also hindered Toni in that because he got one stupid thing that initially started off stupid as shit and managed to turn it into a pot of gold. That he thinks he can do that with everything, and that's not the case. But
well, wait until Top Flight takes the belts from them at Revolution. Wah, wah.
That'd be who would work heel in that match,
right? But they don't care about that. Flight. Toni don't care. The Acclaimed.
All I got is 2 words for you: family therapy. What, Millie?
Billy's sick of the fighting. Wait, my shit.
We're gonna have family therapy between Billy and the Ass Boys, and then are we gonna get Bowens and Caster showing up too?
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Group therapy.
I want to know what is tattooed in that man's armpit. It's bugging me.
You can have that.
It looks stupid.
They look stupid. It doesn't take one tattoo to do that shit.
We got Hangman. One of the members of Top Flight is injured. I think Ian R should be lead commentary on Monday Night Raw. I think Triple H should listen. Ian Riccaboni is awesome. One currently injured. He just returned from injury.
They just wrestled tonight. They're not injured. So.
Well, maybe when, they did this last time that, Dante had to go solo and then his brother comes back and everything's hunky-dory and then he got hurt again. Maybe you shouldn't book him every single week until, he figures his shit out.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I'm just, why are we talking about them being injured when they were just wrestling tonight? Ian Riccaboni, I think he's under contract by AEW, so he's not going to be on Monday Night Raw. And Joey Styles, piss off as a commentator outside of what you did with ECW. Ever since then, you've lost your damn mind. But this clicked on me of, well, you also right now, you have the storyline going on between Mox and Hangman. And you have Mox's wife interviewing Hangman. So it's got to be that underlying tension.
Yeah, right. There should
tell your husband to go F himself.
Yeah. Or shouldn't the questions change a little? How do you feel about getting beat up by my husband over and over?
Right. Gio, what up?
My husband can't play with his child right now because of you.
Oh,
and they sent me to talk to you. You think that would, the boss might rethink that decision?
Yeah, to do that, to play this out right now. Bad move, I feel.
Right? Not the best.
Well, and it's fitting because NXT on the fly cut a whole segment out and everything once they learned about that. So kudos to WWE for maybe handling this a little bit better.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that, and a lot of people gave them, kudos for, I mean, it's kind of funny because, I mean, you generally want to have that respect, but we know the history of the WWE and especially Vince. Right. Not only did they acknowledge it on NXT last night, which a lot of people were surprised by, but pleasantly. And then beyond that, you literally have, Triple H put out a statement. You saw Adam Pearce. A lot of the roster has, spoke out. So, I mean, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
But kudos for them for that, for sure.
Hunter was one of the first people to put a tweet out about it.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that they did switch up what was happening on the show, because for those who don't know, the New Day were going to have a funeral for Pretty Deadly's title shot. And they had heard the news of Jay and decided to go another direction. Rightfully so. Genius move, thank
New
God.
Day and HBK both decided to just nix that, and we're not going to do this because it would be tasteless. And instead of that, that's when we got Vic Joseph acknowledging what had happened.
Now, I think once upon a time, the comment back to the New Day would have been, just get out there.
Yeah, well, unfortunately. But right now, speaking of unfortunate things, I have the Jackass Appreciation Society out in the ring right now because we're getting
Jake Hager
versus Starks.
Yeah, people thought this could be a good match. We'll see. I generally don't get excited for Hager.
But does this not kind of... Starks is the latest victim to be on a push and on a rise, and he gets snared in the trap that is working with Chris Jericho. And now he's got to run through the motley of idiots when this is the guy who was just challenging MJF for the world title. And has now, this is what, his third or fourth match involving Jericho or a member from the JAS. So how long is this feud going to fucking go on? Like every other feud with Jericho.
It's a matter of, if you're hot, I'm going to stick around till I saturate it from you, and then tell everybody what a saint I was, how Mother Teresa I was for all the assistance and career advice, and how I helped you get over.
The vampire of pro wrestling. I'm going to stay around until I take everything hot off you.
That's it. And we've seen it time and time again. So anybody that wants to argue otherwise, and I've heard some of our, podcasting counterparts
constituents.
Be like, the good word, constituents. I've seen some of them come out with like, oh, what Jericho's doing is great. Da 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 da. Jericho always finds a way to make himself over. Even if he goes under, he tries to do it in a way that he's the story, or, it's about him. We saw that with MJF. Yeah, MJF won that match, but everybody was talking about Jericho getting thrown off the fucking cage.
That's the difference, though, between us and them, is that we're here telling you what's actually going on versus we're trying to hope to, have Jericho all in the video, all on the podcast, all in the shout out.
Right.
No, as I say that, as Stark's doing his Billie Jean old school with Jake Hager's bucket hat on.
Oh, wow.
If he didn't look like a skinny John Cena before, he sure as shit does now.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I believe? I believe the Jericho Society without Jericho is better.
That almost went really bad. Oh, so Starks tried to, as he got thrown into the turnbuckle, or in the corner of the ring post, tried to do the slide through, and he almost caught his foot in his knee, but then eats a big boot from Hager. But sorry. Yeah,
What did I say right before that?
I forget, but
Right?
JB's saying that Ricky's hurt. I hope he's not.
I
It did
hope
look like he
not.
kind of limped on it a little bit, but like I said, that looked really close because it looked like kind of what got caught up a little bit.
Oh, that looked awkward as shit, though. Yeah, you're right. And he gave a
Dot
little
saying
hop.
Conan explains Chris Jericho getting his heat back perfectly. Well, would you care to enlighten me?
I'm curious, and I don't think he has genuine heat. Like, I mean, a lot of the times people are either indifferent or they sing along with him. So I think the Ass Boys have more heat than Jericho.
To me, there's not even a heat for Chris. There's not a heat for the Jericho Appreciation Society. It's more of, if anything, it's go the fuck away heat. Of
Yeah,
And it's more of they're taking the fact that people sing along with the song as they're over. No,
but that's not
look
the
at
type of over you
you
want
go
to be.
CM Punkish. Look at the ratings and all of that. People tune the fuck out when he shows
Jericho's
up
on.
on the screen.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people, and it's not Ricky Stark's fault, but Jericho's out with Hager, and a lot of people go for a bathroom break.
Mm.
Ricky Parks, Ricky Starks is a cool dude. Ricky Parks is a good dude.
Ricky Parks
Ricky
is
Parks,
he must be a cool dude too because he's got a
right?
name close to Ricky Starks. Parks and
But
Ricky.
Starks is a star. See, this is what we were talking about earlier. Like, even if Starks was fucking around as a heel with Orange Cassidy, I could buy into that. Two young guys competing for a belt, I can get behind that. If Starks was going after Darby, I could get behind that. I just don't think he needs to be fucking around with Jericho. I don't care.
Absolutely. It's almost what you put Jericho with then. If he's the problem of
Go home, retire.
yeah, take a break. But
Yeah, take a fucking nap.
even
Go on a
Starks,
cruise.
give me Starks Claudio, give me Starks Kingston. I know we've got Kingston involved with House of Black right now, but there's plenty that you could do with Ricky Starks that's
I
either
still think.
going for on his way pushing back towards another title shot, or just having good feuds and building up,
Mhm.
back that way slowly.
Yeah, no, I mean, they literally have they've overused him. I mean, we got weeks and weeks of him. I don't like it wasn't good for him to have the Triple H, the ROH belt. It didn't. People said it was, oh well, he got himself over. He didn't. He said a bunch of shit, but none of it was true. Well, I'm ruining Ring of Honor, and no, it didn't fly. It didn't connect that way. Not for me. Not for a lot of people.
Well, did you see? I love his whole response. As I've got Starks right now wailing on Hager in the corner, but somebody
Mhm.
said, how the only person that got over from Jericho versus Ring of Honor was Chris Jericho.
Yeah, that's it, and that's
And,
everything. This man milked MJF for a year, and then thank God MJF is a talented man because Jericho just destroyed him, and
right.
MJF worked his way out of it. He didn't help MJF get over. He didn't push him further along the career. He delayed him by 13 months.
Oh, absolutely. Jericho, I like this. Jericho is working towards Jarrett Heat, the get off my screen Heat.
Mhm.
I'll give it that the new Jarrett Heat instead of the X Pac Heat because X Pac's
Yeah, I
kind of
like that.
overrated. Um, is Jericho the new Triple H? No, we've just already established he's the new, I guess, Jeff Jarrett.
He's the new
Uh,
Jeff Jarrett.
Victor, well, by the way, thank you very much for the super chat. Was not expecting that.
Yes, buddy.
What's your thoughts on what TK should do with Ring of Honor tag titles, especially since Supercard of Honor is on the 31st?
Now,
Ooh,
and again, as selfish wrestling fans, it's a tough part of the story of that was going to be another opportunity to watch Mark and Jay do their thing, and it's really unfortunate. I mean, for everybody, we all miss out when tragedy like this happens. It's a tough one. I mean, you have I think you have the Jay Briscoe Memorial, you know, tag tournament.
oh, fair enough.
And every year, no matter who has
You're
the belt, you throw it back in, or it becomes a number one contender tournament. But every year you do a Briscoe tournament. in honor of tag team wrestling and in honor of Jay Briscoe.
Absolutely. I'll touch on that. I just want to let everybody know the finish. So Starks hits a spear after Coke and Diet Coke there, 2.0, try and cause a distraction, but Starks hits the spear, gets the 1-2-3, and then instantly hightails it and is celebrating in the walkway as Jericho as the Jackass Society is trying to chase him down. And I will say, one thing I like about being on the show and everything of hosting this and all that is I didn't have to listen to Chris Jericho on commentary. So absolutely, folks, if you don't ever want to listen to Chris Jericho, just mute that shit and just listen to us. But yeah, I think it goes back to, and it does go into of timing and also reaching out to the family and seeing what they want involved or what they want done and everything, as I'm getting a video package for Adam Cole. But we almost halfway anticipated something like what happened with like a celebration of life, like what they did with Brody Lee and everything.
Yeah, and maybe just because of the quick turnaround.
Maybe.
And I don't like, we talked about it and we're probably going to touch on it again. In these moments, to be critical of anything is unfounded. Even if we don't know the story, like you said, maybe TK wanted it and someone said, whoa, like the family doesn't want it. We don't want to do that. Just business as usual.
Right.
So that's the possibility there. Nick, sorry, I just kind of trailed off, but
no, you're good. I was just going to say, because Simon even mentioned about how, like you said, I think that'll be a hell of an idea if they did do something like how you have the Crockett Cup, you have the Briscoe Cup.
And listen, yeah, no, I completely agree, Nick. And like we were saying before we went live tonight, like legitimately, they were, as long as they've been around, they were still on an upward trajectory. Like they won the Crockett Cup. They had multiple tag titles. They had just finished beating FTR. Like in their top 10 matches of all time, people will argue, and I'm inclined to agree, and maybe some of it's recency bias, but the last 3 matches with FTR might be their 3 best matches ever.
And that's the thing. Competition. Well, I was just about to say that because that's what, again, part of what makes this so heartbreaking is as for a team and as for a wrestler, a competitor that's already had so many accomplishments. I mean, the man's a 2-time Ring of Honor world champion is, I think they were like a 13-time Ring of Honor tag champion.
True story.
So still as many peaks to their careers as they've hit, that they still were on an upward trajectory, that they still had, the opportunity to be on an even bigger stage and on a bigger platform and have even more people know about the Briscoes, and still have never stepped foot in WWE because they weren't aesthetically appealing, to quote Johnny Ace.
And yeah, that's something we talked about last night. That's something you and I talked about earlier today together, of just, it's disappointing. And when you put things in perspective, and I hate to kind of go this direction under these circumstances, but I mean, it makes you reflect on life. It makes you reflect on everything. And you look at these guys and you're always told, like, if you work your ass off, if you bust your ass and you get to the top, you will be able to, get to that peak, that mountaintop. And the Briscoes did everything right. And because they ran into an asshole like Johnny Ace, who shuts them down, imagine what they could have done in 20 years going toe-to-toe with the New Day. And why couldn't they play off of like the New Day squeaky clean and the Briscoes grimy and gritty?
Or the Usos versus the Briscoes.
Yeah. And you had other good teams in there that would have put on phenomenal matches. Briscoes and the Hardys. And then they had good matches outside of wrestling. Now, to the Briscoes' credit, they were so good, even though they got shut out of that top tier, where they were heading, they became underground kings. Like everybody, you go on Twitter right now, or you go on Instagram and you just go through, and everybody has crossed paths with the Briscoes, and it's an amazing sentiment. But to guys like Johnny Ace, you suck. And I mean, how many dreams has that guy killed?
Yeah, Johnny Laryngitis. I do like that. See what I might.
You're not pretty.
Christ, we've got Jericho cutting a promo, but
he's still on TV. Fuck.
But even Damon bringing up how Impact was Aaron Briscoe matches, everything where you looked when it comes to the pro wrestling world was talking about the Briscoes today, last night, probably even beyond that. Because, like you said, they've crossed so many paths with so many people because they were the best tag team in pro wrestling. They revolutionized tag team wrestling because they did it outside of the WWE product. That's like you were just saying, they're the underdog underground kings. Because if you're a pro wrestling fan, you know about the Briscoes. If you're a casual WWE fan, you missed out on a once in a lifetime human being, I feel.
Yeah, and I don't know what the hell's going on with the Jericho Society.
I don't want to acknowledge it.
Like
The
Sammy's acting like a
anti-Roman Reigns don't
weirdo.
acknowledge it. If you stop looking at it, they'll go away.
They're gonna put Danny in leather pants.
What in the name of broke Backstreet Mountain are we watching? With Danny Garcia, who is going to be in a feud with this man,
The Jericho
or was, and then it ran into the fucking ground of Bryan Danielson coming out. And yeah, so a couple of guys are wearing the J armband. So I think that Jay Lethal might have even been wearing it the first match. So Danielson's wearing one right now. So I do like that all the Ring of Honor guys are paying tribute.
Okay. Now we're open in the second hour with this is a great match to go into the second hour, folks. We're turning the clock. And yeah, we're getting the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to call him, is in the ring or heading to the ring. And yeah, he's going to take on Bandito. And I'm looking forward to this match. Huge fan of Bryan. Thought he was the best guy going in all of AEW. And I feel like whether it's his choice or Tony's choice, he just hasn't been booked great for quite a while. This is better for him, but we keep getting him sidetracked.
Right. Well, if we're gonna be sidetracked, I'll take him. And Bandito even paying tribute because Bandito's coming out with one on and he's tapping it, the kiss in the sky and everything. But if he's gonna be sidetracked, I'm fine with him having a match with Bandito because this is gonna be. I know it talked about the main event of why that should be there and everything, but this is going to be a barn burner of a match. It's how, like you said, this is how you start your second hour of when people are clicking around through the TV. This is how you get people to tune in and oh, what's happening here? Oh, what's going on here?
Yeah, and I 100% agree with Victor Danielson for the win. Of course, remember, if Danielson loses, he does not get a shot at. No, wait, did they take that off the table? I got confused.
That is on the table. Still, he has to win. So this is the trials of Danielson, just not quite as trial-y.
Well, here we go, folks. If you are just tuning in, you're new here. We are the Wrasslin for Life Network, and we are rolling through AEW, your alternative commentary to this show and all the other ones. We will be back tomorrow. And Friday, we got our doubleheader, SmackDown Rampage. Saturday, we got a 2-for-1 special where we're going to do XPW and GCW. And if you haven't made a prediction, get it in the chat. Let us know who you're taking, the American Dragon or Bandito. It's going to be a good one, folks.
Absolutely. Well, I think Small Mark said this match is for Jay. It's very much Battle of Ring of Honor. Two former Ring of Honor world champions, much like how Jay was battling it out. And this is matches that's the thing is the AEW roster is littered with guys that can put on matches like this and everything. So just fucking build the stories around it. Like this shouldn't just be a one-off thing.
But again, it's funny because Bryan will get in these uber competitive matches and you kind of just want to watch him kick some ass and move on to the next guy. Like, let's get going. Does it bother you that this is like the third time that MJF's had like this little, gauntlet? Like, would this not be handy to still have Bibbins on his side and you kind of got to fuck with Bibbins to get
that whole storyline got messed up. So
that botched bad.
That whole, well, because like I said, it was intended for Punk and then All Out happened. So, but that's an interesting ass pin for Danielson there. He had like the Dragon Toehold and then rolled it into a roll up there for a 2 count.
And then he gives him the old two-finger gun and crowd pops. I mean, good technical wrestling. And again, this is going to be night and day compared to Bandito versus Jericho. And yes, Justin asked if he has been in AEW before. He did fight Jericho.
Oh, no, he asked if he had won a match in AEW.
Oh, one? No,
not he got that offer.
And he's not going to win tonight, poor bastard.
Yeah, unfortunately. As now we're getting another surfboard stretch going on. And that's 100% what this match is going to be. It's technical pro wrestling. And if you want to be a variety show of pro wrestling like AEW likes to market itself as, then that's
Smorgasburg.
Right. I hate that term, but I get it that if tonight is an example of that, I'll give them to him, because you had your high flying spot match that actually kind of halfway worked as Danielson does the Bandito top back, but you had it already with Top Flight versus the Bucks. It was actually a solid match. You lost me though with Jericho with Starks versus Hager.
A little bit.
But this is a technical showdown that these are top pro wrestlers going at it.
And I don't mean I mean to be negative, but as an AEW fan, I feel like Jericho, that section of that show, if that wasn't there, you had something else there, or it just transitioned to this, it would have been a better show. That portion that Jericho was involved wasn't good. It doesn't help the overall show. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my opinion. It's not enjoyable. He's not generating like that type of anger where you're like, ooh, I got to watch this guy and hopefully someone gets him. No, it's just like, stop fucking around. Go away.
Wow. Danielson powered up into whatever type of hole that was. Like, it's so weird. It was like a powerbomb position and then just starts headbutting the man. Now he's going for Texas Cloverleaf. And yes, Bobby, they both are actually. Small Mark saying Bryan wins to keep his title shot alive. So the crowd is supporting Bandito in his match against the future opponent of MJF. Interesting booking or terrible? I say interesting booking. That's me.
I think it's terrible because, because last week was the same thing. I just talked about winning the home, like having a home crowd behind you. So you want Daniel to fight a fucking pain in the ass heel and beat him kind of convincingly. This match, you find another heel that's a little tougher to beat. Next match, another heel. So everybody in the arena, minus a couple, outliers, are all rooting for Bryan. Because as much as people love Bryan and are going to be happy that he won, your audience is split right now. They're going to get a good match, but it's just doesn't help build what you're trying to build to the payoff that you want. So it all comes off painted with one brush to me.
Fair enough. I'll give you that, because I think Justin kind of halfway touched on this a little bit of sucks that they're building Danielson to face MJF for the title just for Danielson to lose.
True story.
But as Bandito with a tope suicida onto the outside onto Danielson, but I do get what you're saying of you having a babyface versus a babyface of it's goes back to, though, it's the labors of Danielson. Like we already had the labors of Jericho, the labors of Cody, all of that.
Oh, shit. This is the Bandito that I love. Let's go.
Right.
Let's go. And Bandito's had some classic matches with a lot of big names. And I mean, of course, his run with Ring of Honor as well.
Right.
Man. And you tell me I want somebody to go watch this match side by side with the Jericho match and tell me that the pace is the same.
Absolutely. It's night and day with this. But, well, speaking of Ring of Honor, Small Mark brings up an interesting point with the Jericho match of technically that was a Ring of Honor match. This would be his first AEW match. Fair enough. I like the technicalities.
Touchy.
Touchy. Pause. See, even JV agrees with you. Damien's agreeing. Yeah. Simone says these AEW shows have been a lot better since TK hired the former WWE Vice President of Global Television Production, Mike Mansouri. Well, that's also why they had the whole change up in the look. Well, oddly enough, it wasn't the look that was ever the issue. It was the in-ring shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
I still think it's funny that we went with blue and red. Like it looks like right now we could be doing Survivor Series, Raw versus SmackDown. If people tuned
No,
in, they believe it.
it's WWE main event is what this halfway feels like at times. As much
Right.
as I'm giving it credit, but at times you have like with the Jericho segments and everything of you have those issues of
Mm-hmm.
why is this on my television? Why is Jeff Jarrett still on my
Mm-hmm.
TV? Why are we having Danhausen stealing a guitar and playing
Mm-hmm.
rockabilly, running around and all of that?
Mm-hmm.
Of like I said, it didn't need a production revamp; it needed a creative revamp.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. He has added, and listen, AEW's been on a decent run. They've had really good dynamites over the last 3-4 weeks, or pretty good ones at least. I've been really happy with the shows the last couple weeks. I don't love everything in them, but I'm okay if I don't like a segment. Oh, this one's not for me. I'll step out, and all the Orange Cassidy fans can sit around and cheer. But I click on Twitter just to
They
see what's
exist.
going on. Sorry,
I said they exist.
they do exist. But I click on Twitter, and the first post I see is a fan saying, "Oh my God, they're booing Bryan." Like, yeah, because the diehards, there's people in the building that really do not want Bryan to win this match. Doesn't make fucking sense.
Well, and that's Small Mark brings up good match, but bad booking for Bryan's streak
Mhm.
stipulation. He should be facing the firm 1-by-1. I don't agree with the firm. I think, well, to go to your point of he needs to be going against top heel versus after top heel after top heel. They don't have enough top heels. They don't.
No, but
They're of the mindset of almost they don't have baby faces. They don't have heels. They have
mm, I don't know
that's
if they feel that
that's
way.
how they operate.
Mhm.
Everyone's in the gray area. This is WCW. The only thing missing is Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff.
Right? But I mean, technically, instead of, instead of what we got to open the show, you got a guy like Jay Lethal versus Bryan. You don't need a build up. They're two veteran guys. They'll give you a banger. And Jay Lethal's a heel because he's
Oh,
hanging around with Jeff Jarrett. So, and then you build from there. You have other guys in your locker room that can definitely oppose this. And again, would I like to see a Bandito Bryan match toe to toe, no time limit? Let's see them go. Like we are getting a really good match here right now. Yes, but I want the story. I want the show to make sense too.
fair enough. Well, we are getting a "This is awesome" chant as we got a big pancake from Bandito as both men getting back to their feet right now. Um,
Yep.
but I
Not
do kind of
anymore.
agree with JV. Well, a little bit of the pace of the card has improved
Yes,
100%.
absolutely. Right, but you got to have a handful of guys back there. You know what? You're going to fight these three men, and it's not. But again, you want the crowd like right now where they're doing the chops. You want them cheering every Bryan chop and booing every other chop by whoever.
Oh, big chop and then a tornado's twisting splash from Bandito. And
Oh,
oh,
up and
Bandito setting Danielson up.
wow! That's funny. Bandito hits a big move from the top, and
Suspended brainbuster, and he's having a hard time getting Danielson up right now.
uh huh.
Hard ass time. Oh, there we go. We got him. We got him up there.
Oh, the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
But like we've been saying back and forth of this is a fantastic match. The story
Fantastic,
doesn't fit it.
right?
Of
Yeah, the
like I
baby,
said,
mhm,
sorry.
the baby face that you're trying to build up, hype to take out your bad guy champion, is upside down in the air, and the crowd is losing their fucking mind. In what, dude? Austin's on a fucking babyface run. He wants to fight fucking heel Rock, but first, let's bring out fucking every list of fucking baby faces we have kicking
Oh,
around. Like, get Rikishi out here. Get fucking, the Hurricane. Let Austin just stomp the shit out of the babyface lockers. It doesn't make sense.
right. Knees up on the frog splash from Danielson, and now
Oh,
he's got the modified label lock in
uh
right
huh.
now.
I like this because it looks painful as shit.
Oh, it looks painful as shit, but no, Small Mark, the firm turned on MGF. Remember,
Yes.
that's when they put, Big Bill put him through a table. So he's not their they're not his lackeys anymore.
No.
Everyone's in the gray area because TK listens way too much to the crowd. Yes, because he doesn't actually book. He books like a fan. He doesn't book like an actual booker. As Bandito breaks up the submission hold by getting his big toe on the rope there.
I like that. Speaking of Hoovy, Saturday night, the Juice Box versus the Real One. We will be here live for XPW.
Cup of haters. Cup of haters.
Cup of haters. We're going to be hanging around. We're going to be talking wrestling. We got GCW. Take a picture. That's going to be a fun card, a fun night. And again, it's going to be a chaotic Saturday night here on the stream. And one of the matches we will be giving you commentary for will be Enzo, the Real One, Amore, going up against, Juventud Guerrero.
The juice. The juice is loose.
Man, we may be in store for the longest promo in wrestling fucking history.
That'll be their whole intermission. Just have them do a 50-minute promo there. Oh, that was like a spin out into a GTS.
Yeah.
Oh. As Danielson hit the S-logs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Wow.
Also a rebound suplex. But Danielson lands on his feet.
But this is a good match. This is good Bandito. What we watched with Chris Jericho was Bandito fucking wrestling in mud.
Yeah, it was very much slowing down the pace, slowing down everything.
Struggling to hit those spots. Come on now.
Roll up for Bandito for a 2 count.
2, yeah. Jesus. The pace.
I can't get into AEW. The Elite reminds me of Triple H when he came back and instantly made himself champion. Well, to me, it's more Hogan and Nash and them when they were in WCW.
It's definitely got some WCW
Doesn't work for me, brother.
Sean's got a good point there. I mean, not completely off base in the sense of, it's got that vibe to it where they just came back and got handed what they expected. Yeah, I mean, it kind of, and then they'll say, well, but we put Top Flight over. Yeah.
Right. KJ Nick, should WWE or AEW do an all-card pay-per-view done by social media? They've tried that before with Taboo Tuesday and Cyber Sunday and all of that. And at the end of the day, it's still going to be kayfabe as shit.
No, yeah, absolutely. Because I remember sitting there at, a younger KJ watching.
Right.
Nobody voted for this.
I made 8 accounts. I voted for him. How'd he lose still?
Right.
Danielson with a running knee off the ring apron after he.
Come on, you can't tell me that one of those votes wouldn't break storyline. Like, oh wait, everything just worked right into the kayfabe you were already, putting out and producing for us.
Right, but then that's how we get trolley matches and everything like that. So, and your main event is MJF versus Danhausen.
In a Shark Tank match.
Right, in a housing on a pole match type shit.
I got Bryan going up top.
I got both of them
coming down
on the top turnbuckle.
There you go. Same thing.
Close enough.
But yeah, listen, at times getting into AEW over the last stretch has been tough, but I mean, it feels like they are going in the right direction. I do feel that. I do feel like the ratings from our fans in the chat, from ourselves.
Oh.
We doing a Spanish? We are. Oh.
Spanish fly splash there. Like he had him in the
sidewalk. Yeah.
Yeah. Rebound suplex. 2 count.
A moonsault sidewalk slam. Fall away. That's fucking pretty.
Moonsault sidewalk slam.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, we're getting the holy SHITs.
Now, the other part of this is, if you don't really know a lot about Bandito or you haven't seen Bandito before, but you know Daniel Bryan and you know he's legit and he's one of the best in the world, I think a match this competitive, this long, against a relatively unknown in this environment, now the crowd is loving it, so what the fuck do I know? But overall, you can do it better.
as we're getting slap fighting right now. And so I'll touch on what C Money says here as a super kick from Bandito and what you even said of I feel like this is going more of the opposite way of it's not hurting Danielson. If everybody knows Danielson can fucking go at this point.
Ooh, that sucked.
He needs just simply some wins, and you have him in some good matches for a win and everything like that. But I think what this does, this validates Bandito as being a top guy in AEW because look at the match that he put on with Danielson versus the match that he put on with Jericho. Do you want that to be his resume or this to be his resume?
They think it was great. That's the problem, though. If they all drank the fucking Kool-Aid, then
Jericho's the only one that drank that fucking Kool-Aid. Well,
Jericho
don't know. And TK, I don't think Bandito personally
was happily to give that a spit shine.
Oh, running knee. Turn that man inside out. Uno, dos, tres.
There you go.
And Bryan Danielson picks up the 1, 2, 3.
Fucking hell of a match. Hell of a match. Hell of a match. I don't want to take away from the match because I like the match. I do.
That's my favorite AEW match that I've seen in a hot minute, I feel.
That was a hell of a match. Hell of a match. TV match of the year so far. No, I'm just fucking.
Well, and like you said, I think the biggest statement of it shows you go for people that disagree with us with how we feel about Chris Jericho, or at least I know you're harsh on him too, but I'm speaking, so I'll speak for myself.
That's a good idea.
Right. But that think Chris Jericho can still fucking go at the level that he really thinks he does. Then you put that match between Bandito and Jericho up against this match versus Danielson, and it's night and fucking day. It's that one guy looks like a main event, one guy looks like a mid card.
The scarf is here.
I can't. It's
too far away.
Well, no, I could put it on. I don't. Not tonight. Not tonight with the gimmicks.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Max because you've been keep going at low hanging fruit.
There you go.
Personally,
Daniel and Andrade would be a banger
if he was the one that was, the one he had to end up beating in the end to get to MJF. That wouldn't be a bad shout. He has to get through Miro. That's the thing is the guys that he could be going through are guys that are on the goddamn bench.
Right, well, that's the thing. And then I don't know if it's good for Miro to return and then to losing.
But he'd have a hell of a match.
Yeah, but that's, again, still, you want him to come in and kick somebody in the face and go, Miro, and that's it. You just be a badass. That's the problem.
They have too many. They've built up too many people that need to just go out there and whoop some ass because at this point, no one whoops ass on this show.
Well, that is not completely incorrect.
That was a convoluted way to say I was right.
Kind of. But I mean, yeah, it's just kind of the staple of the show where, again, it's just an interesting thing where I think it's better when you have lanes and everybody kind of sticks to the lane because it allows the show to be more compelling. It's why we like sports. Dude, you're a Bills fan. You hate the fucking, the team across the field, period.
Right.
You want them, you're pulling for them. You're not like, oh, we like both these teams. I hope they both do well. Yup, you both get a participation medal.
Fair enough. And speaking of compelling, is it saying something that we just talked all over Max's promo and everything when normally we'd be hanging on, waiting with bated breath of what he's going to say? But a lot of people have now started to say
heard it.
Is he getting stale? Is he getting already because of AEW's booking that it's that in a combination of he goes after the low hanging fruit, the cheap pops of you people suck.
I don't agree with the low hanging fruit thing because that's a heel. Like that's what it's supposed to do. And if you're, an over the top
every promo.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they do. They point out the obvious, right? If the guy's short, he calls him short. If the guy's, fat, they calls him fat. Like whatever it is, he'll pick at it. There's more to it, and he delivers it in such a sharp way. To me, it's usually entertaining. So I don't mind that, right? It has that Bobby Heenan vibe of like he'll just shit on the most obvious and like no one else is going to mention this, and then he does. Like, oh shit, I can't believe he said that. However, I think the booking plays a lot into it because for MJF, we've seen it's kind of almost here's funny, and we're gonna laugh at this one. Hold on tight. It's like Bray Wyatt. I'm going to connect them. Hold on. Where we get a whole lot of microphone stuff and we get a whole lot of backstage stuff. But it gets to that point where I know what Bray's going to say next week. He's going to come out and tell me how conflicted he is. I know what MJF said. We didn't listen to that promo because we were gabbing, but I know what he said. This town sucks. You suck. I'm going to win. Goodbye. Fuck you. That was it. So it's where we need those in that character. You need moments like put him in the ring for a match, have a fucking squash match where you can just shit on somebody. No, when they'd send like the heel out, like, or the champion, and he just kick the shit, like, not dominate, but literally just kind of like belittle him, embarrass him, beat him in such a way that people are like, oh, I fucking hate this guy, and remind us that, listen, we talked about Jay Briscoe. He said it in an interview I watched today. It all comes down to what happens in the ring at the end of the day. So you can build it all you want, and we can listen to all these amazing promos, but if you don't show up and bang out, Austin was an amazing promo. He went in the ring a lot, not always for a match, but he was in there, and it built that anticipation in certain ways. Just these continual pre-tapes, blue balls.
Well, I think it also has to do a little bit with normally what we've seen with MJF of he's dusting whoever he's had a promo with, but when now you put him in there with guys like Starks who have gotten some jabs back in. Christ, people were actually thinking that Takeshita actually, got a jab in there. Danielson's not a slouch on the mic, so I think it goes into a little bit of that like you were saying, of that can't be the only thing that this whole story relies on. It does take some actual back and forth, and it does get hampered because it's coming out of the whole awkwardness with the firm, with William Regal, with all of that was happening beforehand. It still has that stench of the all-out fallout a little bit.
Yeah, but even if you have him come out to the ring and say, you know what, Bryan, you think you're bad because you're winning these matches, don't worry. The next guy's going to beat you. I don't care. You're never going to get a shot at this title. But, everyone's talking about you in these matches. Let me show you, and brings out some local fucking talent and shits all over him. And literally you see him in the ring. You see him interacting. He's generating more. He's physically involved. I don't know. Anyway.
Fair enough. Small Mark brings up Paige is playing heel, Shida is playing the clown, not enjoying the Paige comeback story. Yeah, it's been very weird. I wasn't a fan of it from initially. It's good to see that she can still go and she's back in the ring, what have you, but it's been all sorts of all over the place and felt flatter than a fucking doornail.
It's been bad. Outright bad. No offense. Paige, one of my favorite ladies. Paige's name would come up and, I'd start blushing. The younger KJ was a huge Paige fan. But this return has been shit. And it's kind of the same thing that I was just bitching and belly aching about, Nick. It's just Britt Baker has outworked her, outshined her in this whole process.
Has out-babyfaced her.
That's it. Britt Baker's giving the babyface speeches. Even the situation with Shida, I don't know who the fuck wrote that or came up with that idea, but why would your babyface, sitting with two other babyfaces, go, wait, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to work with you, and be completely ignorant to somebody? Well, that's going to make Shida a heel. No, Shida has a right to be a baby angry. What is this, dude?
Fair enough. Well, so next week we're getting Cage versus Bryan Danielson, and MJF's offering Cage right now a payout. As he just slapped the shit out of him with the money of, I don't care if you win, I don't care if you lose, I just want you to break his arm. As much as we were just talking about MJF maybe getting a little long in the tooth, what have you, getting a little stale, of instantly comes right back and has a great segment right after that.
Just do this segment. Just
making me eat my words. Yeah, don't do the after the match, afterbirth, after promo. Just do this.
Tie them together, and I really don't want to see a Daniel Bryan Cage match. I don't. Sorry. Am I wrong?
If you thought KJ wasn't a fan of Danielson versus Bandito,
I'm just getting grumpier as the day goes on here. Shit.
Well, I'll let you air your grievances here.
No, I mean, I like the show. Let me be real. definitely like parts of the show, just being nitpicky, I guess, and kind of a little overcritical on certain details. But it's because I'm a fan. I just want to see, the booking support what I'm watching, and I want to get into it, and I want to be behind it, and it's just little things like that MJF segment. Make it one little segment, put it all together, put a nice little bow on it. I don't think, yeah, I don't like the booking of Brian Cage versus Daniel Bryan. I don't. I don't think it's going to deliver a great match, probably because Brian Cage is pretty garbage. By the way, I got Willow Nightingale coming to the ring in a great mood. We're getting a replay, the picture of the street fight from Rampage where the ladies went ham. Well, Sean, I don't think what he just did in the ring would qualify him as a jobber. I think that's the problem. If you put Bryan in with a lesser talent, he gets a little more of a convincing win over a mid-level bad guy, maybe one half of a tag team, like just that kind of. If you're gonna do random booking, right? He beats one of the ass boys convincingly, quick, not super quick, but quick. Bandito can't job out. You don't want to job him out. You don't want to hurt his. You don't want to take his polish off. So they give him an outstanding match. Awesome match. Full marks for the match. I like the match. I'm a fan of the match. However, I just don't think the match fits the narrative that you should be telling, or at least I thought you were trying to tell. By the way, get your predictions in. Toni Storm against Willow. I'm gonna go Toni Storm. I think Dale's got Toni. Damien's got Toni as well. Oh, big backdrop. KJ, please explain this to me so I can understand it. Joe cuts Wardlow's ponytail. You would think Wardlow would listen. They fucked Wardlow up. It's simple. JV, we can dive deep into this, but quickly, Willow's got Toni. Is in control of Toni, and again, interesting booking because you would assume Toni Storm and Soraya were baby faces, but is Willow Nightingale not as babyface as fuck? Am I wrong on that one? Britt Baker DMT a babyface? As if. But they're naturally making it that way. She's saying all the things you would expect a babyface to say. This is our company. I've been here from day one. I'm grinding. I'm working. You just come in and say it's your house. That's not acceptable. Back to this. Yeah, it makes no sense. Wardlow, if we go back about 9 months ago, was one of the most over people in the business. And thanks to MJF, with assistance to that. But Wardlow is on top of his steel cage and he's celebrating, and the crowd is losing their minds. One of my favorite moments of 2022. And you're thinking, you can't miss with this guy. Wins the belt, and they fucked it all up. To the point now where even when we were just talking about, well, who could we book if instead of who they did book? We didn't even mention Wardlow. Slipped our mind. That's unfortunate. And to your point, Joe, but I mean, now he's going to chase Joe for the other belt, right? So I guess that's the solution to that. But completely, again, when you try and weave all the stories like, oh well, we like long term storytelling, and they'll come back, and yeah, but then you get it really. You water down your story, right? It gets too complicated because you're following the lineage of Wardlow and Joe, and then Darby comes in, boom, and now we're going to different. Like, to me, it's just not writing. And I guess Toni, as much as he wants to think of himself as a booker, doesn't have that experience. Doesn't have, he doesn't even have writing experience as far as being able to properly put a story together. As far as I know, no one's told me about it. So I think that's where you see it, where it's just clunky points of a story, but you're not actually telling stories. And I think that just brings AEW to the next level if you could just kind of clean up some of that. And I think they have people, Jeff Jarrett, as much as I shit on him, Jericho should know better, but Jericho's all about himself and his ego is just fucking screaming. He's one of the most insecure people on TV. He's one of the most insecure people in wrestling. I think he's tarnishing his legacy with his bullshit. This is a guy who literally goes on Twitter and shits on fans for not liking what he did and tell them how fucking stupid they are for not getting his genius. So he should know better, but there's veterans around. You had William Regal involved. You have Jerry Lynn, Jay Lethal. You have guys that should be able to put the polish on some of the of what you're trying to do. Listen, Bandito, Danielson was outstanding, but it just doesn't fit what you're trying to tell us. Picky, picky, picky. Right now, I'm in pitcher, by the way, and Willow is battling out of Toni Storm's grip. So, yeah, Toni working heel. So we've made Toni and Saraya heels quietly. Shida out. Yes. But now I'm confused. This is the weirdest shit. So then Shida helps last week, accidentally helps DMD win. Here she is tonight. She didn't come out in the entrance. So there's clearly dissension. The other two are working like heels. Anybody else? Anybody? I'm at a loss, but this is a good match. Good match. I like this match, and Willow is growing on me. I was very skeptical of Willow. I didn't quite understand why everybody was so enamored with her. I've actually seen her put on a few good matches now. And you know what? She wins you over. She is a great babyface. She's got a good look. I like when we get not all the wrestlers in the women division have that model-esque look. I like when it's authentic, it's real, and I like it. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow, okay. Breaking news. Thank you. I'm in. And I thought something. I said it last night where I anticipated Tony Khan going for broke just because he seems to be a very sentimental guy. Straps down. And I saw what he did for Brody Lee. So I kind of anticipated that he was going to do that again here. Like he was going to give us some type of like almost shut the show down, make it all very, focused in one direction. Um, but he didn't do that. Oh, Toni with the win. On a roll up in tights. And then Saraya jumps her. Okay. So it's official. Here's Ruby. So Ruby and Willow have I guess now that's their new one. Maybe we'll get a street fight between Paige and Toni. We're getting a Ruby chant. Shida has just on the outside looking in. So Shida, okay, so Shida's out in the wind. Willow Nightingale takes the loss, and now, if you were wondering, you don't need to wonder anymore. Saraya and Toni playing heel. It's really crazy. You sign this giant name in wrestling, and this is. You'd almost feel like signing Paige would be like the female equivalent of signing CM Punk. Like she was retired, she was in the wind. We weren't sure if we were ever going to see her again, and it just didn't work out that way. It hasn't gone well. It hasn't gone great. I don't know. Like I said, I was such a fan of Paige This is just not registering. But here we go. Oh, we're getting a rundown of Rampage. Jade will be in action. Ethan Page versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And we're getting a pre-tape for that particular match. Saraya is better as a heel, but it's too soon. But do you guys feel like she should come out and the fans should lose their minds, right? Like, especially when you're in a new city, like you're out in California. They haven't seen Paige in a wrestling ring in a long time. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep calling her Paige. I don't care. But it didn't feel like she ever like, oh my god, we can't wait. Ring of Honor World 6-Man Champion. So Brian Cage versus Daniel Bryan. More matches to be announced on Rampage for Dynamite. And our main event is on the horizon. KUSHIDA with Darby Allin. So as far as name value, based on other things you had on the show, not the highest of name value, but I do think this could steal the show. This could be a really big banger. Now, we already saw Bryan have an outstanding match with Bandito. Really good match. Nice little lull in the middle for everyone to catch their breath. And then back out the other side, we'll get some more good wrestling. See how they did that? So a little bit of a sandwich. Everyone knows the sandwich.
Speaking of a sandwich, pause.
Speaking of a sandwich, we're missing the meat in the middle.
Well, pause on all of that. Yeah, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But yeah, now it's official, like a referee whistle of Saraya, Paige, Saraya, and Toni Storm are heels. And well, fair enough. The Toni Storm heel to me doesn't fully make sense. But to me, it makes sense of having Paige Saraya as a heel. If she wasn't getting over as a babyface, of Britt kind of played it perfectly of, this is my house. She doesn't get what's going on here. She thinks she can just walk in. Of, let's be honest, we already talked about it. Of Britt in that feud seemed like the babyface in that whole situation. So I guess to compare it, like how KJ brought up, of it's like signing CM Punk, which I think that's a bit of a reach, but she wasn't getting over with the AEW audience. She felt like the outsider. She very much feels like a WWE wrestler or performer. Then AEW very much trying to promote their homegrown talent. So I like that they're going to just lean into it of her being a heel. Now, granted, could she, have the street fight with Ruby or anything like that? I don't know if that's really something we want to jump into, but I do like that Ruby's getting a bit of a push up the card. Willow is getting a push very much up the card. Like I said, and one of my comments I put in there was, I'm a little positive. It's, to me, the issue with Willow was how they introduced her, of how they anticipated that just everybody's a smart mark wrestling fan and knew who Willow Nightingale was, versus we're building her up and we're going to put her, and lead up to her debut, or, gradually build her up the card, versus just, well, who she is, right? But I am in commercial right now, folks, before we get to the main event. So give me your predictions, if you haven't already, for KUSHIDA versus Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. And I do like that they're building up to this very much, that they've promoted it throughout the whole show. They're taking this seriously. They've always kind of been back and forth and struggled with how they promote or how they push the TNT title. But I do like that they're at least making this feel like a big deal. Granted, they are also bringing in KUSHIDA, outside talent, so it does work, of rather than just, hey, you remember him, oh, hey, you watched him on WWE, right? No, we are going to kind of build up to it. We're going to make it feel like a special moment. And as great as Bandito and Danielson was, you can still have great matches throughout the show, and that's what makes it a good show. As we're getting Takeshita right now getting interviewed backstage, and he's honestly a blue chip prospect that I hope AEW figures out what they are going to fully do with and handles properly, versus a lot of the misused talent that they've had. I could start naming a whole list, but I really like what they've gotten him. Like I said, he's, to me, a blue chip prospect when it comes to pro wrestling. That's why I think even WWE was interested in him. Obviously, other companies like Impact, etc., were interested. And to see him even halfway hold his weight there with MJF was surprising. Damian taking Darby for the win. Sadly, Ryback's gimmick ran longer than Wardlow's. Oh, don't let KJ hear you say that, as I've got Justin Roberts announcing that this match will go until TV time remaining. So we've got about 19 minutes allegedly for this match, not including introductions. As I've got Kushida coming out right now. I'm going to take Darby for the win just because he did just win the title. Oh, hi.
Hi.
Who do you got, Kushida or Darby?
Darby for sure. I mean, fucking Kushida could be on a one-day contract for all we know.
Fair enough, yeah. Well, and
I didn't see any all elite
shot the belt too much.
It's not official until you see, Kushida is all elite on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, he did also just sign with New Japan, and I know we've had talks about some people from New Japan leaving, but I think when Kushida just re-signed back over there, I don't think so.
Kushida brought friends.
Yeah, from the
Kevin Knight and
Young Lions from the LA Dojo.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's one of the dojo guys.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel about the Marty McFly gimmick?
I don't mind it. I don't mind him being like that 80s throwback and, kind of playing into that moniker. I mean, it's his. He owns it. He's the only one that does it. And you know what? Say you want about Kushida. Kushida will fucking bang with guys. Like, this has all the potential to be a hell of a match.
Yeah, he doesn't lean heavy into the corniness of it like I guess Orange Cassidy does with the pockets and the little shin taps and everything.
Yeah, like if he was fucking, like lights out and then he'd come back and they would redo like a fucking move over again because he went back to the future, then I'd have an issue. Right. But yeah, no, there's a line there. But I mean, he just runs like, he reminds me of like, the kid from the Goonies.
Speaking of, I guess, Goonies, we've got Darby coming out right now with Daddy Sting.
Oh, Daddy Sting is here.
Yeah. Well, Darby's over like Rover, though.
Listen, I give Darby credit because he's remained relatively over for a while. However, they haven't done much with him. So that was partly why, like, all of a sudden he had a TNT title shot and he won it. And we're like, whoa, wait a minute. You weren't really preparing us for that. We didn't know he was on an upswing because you haven't done much.
Yeah, he's managed to, I guess, maintain the most consistent kind of push or getting over when it comes to
win or lose. They love him.
Right. But he also hasn't ever progressed that much since he's been there in the 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, you have a potential for Darby to retire Sting sooner than, eventually in 2023.
Sting has to turn on Darby. I don't know about that. That'd be interesting. I think that could be Sting's retirement match.
Mm-hmm. What if Darby turned on
Ric Flair, Old Yeller?
Yeah, like, I mean, Darby could turn on Sting in the sense of like, would you get out of my fucking spotlight, old man?
He just looks back while he's going for a coffin drop and just, I'm sorry, I love you, and just falls on him.
Yeah, there we go. I like it. Big pop for Kushida.
So he can only have a title or a skateboard, not both. No, never both.
Never both. You can't carry two things at once. Don't bring the groceries in with Darby.
He needs a backpack.
Borrow Orange Cassidy's.
Yeah. Get a fanny pack.
No, that's it, folks. And I think Darby Allin's a good testament to what we were talking about earlier when tying this back to, Jay Briscoe, where he said it comes down to what you do in the ring. So if you can win the crowd over with your ring, what you do in that ring, then you're in a good position. And, you might not always get the win. You might not always be utilized to your fullest extent. But if you go in there and you deliver and you're authentically you got a shot to be in the heart of the fans for a long time.
Right. And so we are on the way right now, folks, with Darby versus Kushida. And so far it's been pretty much just back and forth, a lot of slide and dodging each other.
Yes, it has. But this comment, Larry, I expect better from you, sir.
Do better, be better.
That should not be a thing. Keep in mind, that tag team was formed in a bathroom at a urinal with unwashed hands.
Pause. Accusations.
Accusations.
Seriously though, where's Miro? Probably at home with his wife, I would hope, because Toni just doesn't know what the fuck to do with him. And I think he offered him something, and he would have, like you said before, if you don't want to see him come back and instantly lose. And I think that's what Toni kind of pitched to him. And he's like, no, thanks, I'm good.
And I don't think it's about the losing. It's how you lose. Like if you pitch him like you're going to come back and go after the Atlantic title, but you're going to go under the OC, you might turn that down.
Right.
Right. But if you come back, listen, you're going to go after Daniel Bryan. You're sick of his shit. You guys know each other from back in the day, and you're going to have a hell of a match, and he might beat you. He might say yes to that, and we might be okay with it.
You turn it into, well, he was God's chosen champion and everything. And then, so he made a deal with the devil instead because God turned his back on him and all that. And you make him MJF's heavy. You could go with that and make that, and you could make that fit.
Yeah, absolutely. I did not know that. Accusations.
Allegedly.
Is Toni hiding? No. Well, the story for those who don't know about Miro was they were doing those vignettes and they were building them up. The Redeemer was going to return. They were hinting at a Miro House of Black rivalry. Julia Hart was the only one that knew where Miro was. That's who we should look up. Is where's Julia Hart?
He borrowed Veer's GPS.
Right? Remember, he was like in the dark place
in the barricade.
Right? And she would just show up like, what the fuck you doing here?
Right.
But yeah.
No, he's not an Impact wrestler. He's a New Japan wrestler. He has appeared on Impact.
Yeah. Is he signed Impact?
No, he's signed with New Japan.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Mirko is frolicking in the surf with his wife Lana.
Now listen, if a billionaire wants to cut me a check to hang out with a hottie wife all the time, I'm down.
Right. Have MJF as the champ and have Miro and Wardlow as tag team champs. Interesting.
Miro and Wardlow as tag champs? I mean, that would be imposing as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we just lost sight of Miro. And apparently Toni pitched him on an idea. He turned it down, and he's been at home ever since. Apparently, like Toni's booking, he sends you home.
Or if he just, can't fit enough of you on TV, he's got to make, he's got to have the 3 Jericho segments, the 2 Jeff Jarrett ones, the at least 3 to 4 Jay Lethal and Sanjay ones. So, I mean, he's all booked up.
Yeah. I don't know how to fit all these wrestlers in. I got an idea.
Don't sign fucking half the world.
Well, don't sign a guy for a back fucking. Oh.
Destroyer into a 2 count from Darby on KUSHIDA.
Oh.
It's been a quick match so far as the young lions are, making sure he's got some air, cooling him off. Oh, we're getting a coffin drop. Looks like, or nope, splash.
Did you notice this little bit of uniqueness? And I'm just going to throw it out to the chat as well.
Sent onto the young lions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Both, everybody down. AEW, the people outside the ring all hanging out at the same side of the ring. That's a relatively unique approach. Usually, I saw it earlier tonight and I just kind of ignored it. But everybody facing the hard cam, if they're like even earlier with everyone else involved, they were all like on the same side of the ring, and I'm like, that's different because usually you'd have some division, right?
Everybody's got to get their time on, the hard cam and everything because, we can't just have multiple shots. If we cut to this person in that corner and that person in that corner, what happened to where you'd have the people on the outside getting into it? And that's what causes a distraction of, Sting runs over to the young lions. You motherfuckers, get your ass out of here, all of that. And that's what causes a distraction versus, nope, we're all going to just hang out and act civil. Yeah,
I mean, fair enough. I mean, and that's kind of the interesting thing, right? It's a... big pop for KUSHIDA, another babyface versus babyface match. I mean, the fans are cheering for both guys.
Big palm strike to the face from KUSHIDA as we're in picture-in-picture right now. Abaddon, I don't know what they're doing with her. I feel like that woman's, if we're talking about people forgotten on the roster, she's a prime example.
Yeah. Sting's face is extra black today.
Pause. accusations.
Yeah, right. Miro keeps rolling a double six and keeps landing collect paycheck. I mean, it's a good gig. Hey, Miro,
Do
what'd
not
you do
get
for work?
both. Collect $200. That's Toni.
Right,
Or that's Miro right now.
right. Wake up, hang out with Lana. Go work
Right.
out, hang out with Lana. Work out with Lana. Go on a boat with Lana. Yeah, life's good.
Have dinner with Lana.
Right. A whole lot of other Lana activities in there, I'm sure.
Right.
27-year-old Lillian Turnin is the other driver. Yes. We do have the main event going on. I don't know how far I'll dive into this right now, but we'll talk about that as we wrap the show, probably,
Yeah.
Victor. But rest in peace. And again, thoughts and prayers to the two little girls that are in the hospital.
Thoughts
That's.
and prayers to her family as well.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I want to. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. And I mean, again, in this instance, and we talked about it with Mark, right? Like, don't forget about Mark. I mean, this is tragic, but multiple people involved. A lot of people are hurting now, and again, it's Mark's birthday today. Christ, like from now on, when it comes time for his birthday, it's going to ding, and then a week later is your actual brother's birthday because they were really close as far as the day.
Right. Yeah. It's the wrestling world. Everybody involved at this point. I think we're all kind of grieving, and that's why we're trying to still focus on the show and all of that and just enjoy, celebrate Jay's life versus wallow in what could have been, I guess.
Right. Power slap, road to the title. Shit.
May have to watch that.
It can be worse. You can be Kingston and land on the stay on Rampage. Yeah.
Oh,
you go too dark. Do not pass
yeah.
go. Do not collect an audience.
It's the go to jail card right there, I feel.
Dude, my dude. We're gonna watch a few slaps, right?
Well, yeah, we'll see. It's interesting with everything that's going on, but I feel like
I'm shocked that
I feel like if the Briscoes are gonna, JB looking down, watching people slap the dog shit out of each other,
right?
Springboard Darby catches him for the reverse DDT.
Oh.
So both men down right now. This has been a back and forth match.
Crazy. But we know, listen, I will say this card has delivered pretty good wrestling for the most part. A couple good matches at least.
It's been a better Dynamite in
Dynamite's
recent memory. It started off on an interesting note, but like I said, I think you touched on it earlier of maybe with everything that's going on, we needed something like that. That's just kind of some easily digestible brain dead bullshit to kind of let everything kind of sink in for a minute.
And like I said earlier, and I said it right away, I'm not going to make it a judgment. I know they did the rest in peace and the tolls of the bell. I just, part of me thought we were going to get a little more, but now if we're going to find out, I mean, it was mentioned in the chat, they're going to do a Ring of Honor show in his name. See, that's why
it is fitting that it is Ring of Honor versus an AEW show per se. I guess the Warner Media execs broke out because that's the thing is you do have to take into account. That's a big reason as to why the Briscoes were never truly on AEW, of why the Ass Boys had to halfway mention to them of just calling them boys.
Yeah, no, and I think that unto itself bothers me, but we'll get there.
Right. Arm breaker onto the outside from KUSHIDA on Darby.
Listen, Wardlow's just kind of swinging in the mist. Like, I don't know what we're going to do with Wardlow. Nick, when you were on break, we've talked about this plenty of times about, Wardlow was fucking white hot and you cooled him off in a hurry.
That's the one thing AEW is good at.
It's the one thing they're good at.
Sunset flip, fucking stunner. Onto the ring apron. I don't know who got the worst of that. Darby with his fucking tailbone or KUSHIDA. But yeah, no, it's the one thing AEW is good at is building up a baby face and then taking everything cool off them real fucking quick.
Darby separated his shoulder. That interesting? I got both men down still, so I haven't seen his shoulder.
I saw him. He's grabbed at it. I don't know if it's
I
separated.
see that. It looked gross. Nothing like a good old slap fest.
Well, that's the thing. We've had the varying slap fest is just outright barbaric.
It is. It's fucked up. I mean, and especially with all the talk
Okay.
in the sports world about concussions and the after effects of post concussion. The fact that you can just outright belt each other in the side of the head. I mean, I'm shocked. But
Yeah. Well, I
that's all
mean
right.
that what I feel like it goes down into that which is gonna break. Yeah, it's a little barbaric, but and you saw that man's face just swell up after that one.
Man.
But I mean, at the same time, oh, what goes for the leg drop onto Kushida sitting in the chair on the outside and gets caught into an armbar on the
Yeah.
outside by Kushida.
Weird.
Oh, is I mean, it's not going to count if he taps out there, Kushida. I don't know what the fuck you're
Oh
doing.
shit.
That looked painful as hell, though. But goddamn,
Darby looked like, oh my God, I can't, like, that went extremely well. And little details where you see, like, the camera angle used to catch botches real bad. The way they shot that, it came in. And by the time they kind of got us focused on it, it was locked. So it looked
well,
seamless.
it happened like it wasn't planned, like it's just actual action,
Yeah.
and everything. And they got down low on it versus we're just getting a still shot from over by the timekeepers area, just looking down.
Yeah. And I mean, I think similar to what we were talking about earlier, and a lot of the critics of AEW will say, here's your TNT champion. He just beat Samoa Joe. You bring in a relatively unknown guy to the general public, and here your champion is being pushed to the limits.
Yeah, well, and they're getting the title over of is what I feel. Oh,
I don't disagree. I'm telling that, you know, that's the critic standpoint, and I
right.
have been critical in those regards. For something like the TNT title, I'm okay with, like the US, like the open challenge for the US title. You never really knew who was going to walk through the curtain.
Right.
Oh!
Spanish
How do
fly
you not break
armbar.
his arm? Son of a bitch.
Yeah, this is so weird. Of their right, Sting's right beside the guys from the dojo. It's like,
Yeah.
Sting, go slap the dog shit out of him. Oh, we might get that because he just threw the towel at Sting.
Right? But that's what I mean. Like, that's a rare thing where in wrestling where you see like everybody hanging out together and talking.
Right.
Like, oh, your guy almost had him, eh? Oh, nice.
Oh, and Sting wipes himself off. That's really the best you're gonna do, Sting. At fucking fight. Throw a punch, do something. As Kushida's got a Kimura lock in still. Oh, three with I don't even know what you'd exactly call that. And Darby may have honestly separated his shoulder because he's still grabbing at it, but it's sorry.
No, 1 second. I'll tell you in a
Good.
second. They should have opened the show with Danielson and Bandito. I feel like they could have ended the show with Danielson and Bandito, to be honest. Yeah, the crucifix, that's like one of his signatures that isn't interesting because it's still a roll up. It's just a fancy roll up.
Well, it's he almost gets in like puts him in like a clover leaf or like a figure four halfway position and then just falls over into the roll up.
Yeah.
That was a
He's got
hell of a match. If this wasn't a championship match, I could see it going on second. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I just didn't. The match didn't blow me away. This could have opened the second hour. I mean, it was shorter. It was definitely less exciting than Bryan and Bandito.
I could agree with that. It's one of those of it gets into that toss up of well, which do you put over the better match per se or the title? That's when it gets that interesting back and forth when it comes to booking.
I think I'm less stringent about like I mean, okay, the TNT title opens the second hour. It's your TV championship. I'm okay with that. I can get behind that.
That versus guy qualifying for a match for the world title, you could swing it out.
You could swing that, especially when it's a Bryan.
I can agree with that.
Right? I mean, if the main event was, I don't know, pick two fucking schmugs, and it was them for like a number one contender spot, maybe not, but it's Bryan. And again, it's interesting, right? Bryan against Bandito, still working his way into the AEW universe, and KUSHIDA against Darby Allin. Oh, we're going for a handshake.
A handshake. Oh, and he was going to raise Darby's one arm, and Darby pretty much gives him like the don't do that. So he may have genuinely separated his shoulder, or at least something.
I know us wrestling fans aren't used to proper selling nowadays.
Well,
we saw it with Seth. Seth limped out of limped out of Raw, and everyone was like, "He's dead. He lost his leg." You're like, "Wait, they worked it for 15 minutes."
Right. Fair enough. Yeah. To where even I think I was one of the people that was convinced of, oh, we threw up the X, all of that. Oh, it's a
No.
shoe injury. But
The
so
following
give us your
program
ratings,
features.
folks, as I do have,
Yes.
I at least have Power Slap coming on right
Yeah,
now.
me too. Oh shit. Well,
Yeah, we
ladies
got
and
that
gentlemen.
early preview on New Year's Day there with Dane and his wife.
Yeah. That was the end of AEW Dynamite. As always, get your ratings out of 10 into the box. Let us know how you felt about the show tonight. Interesting show. Depends how you view your wrestling, as far as I'm concerned, on where you're going to find the happy button on this one. However, just so we know, the Slap King himself, Dana White, is presenting Power Slap.
Road to the title. Basically, they're the Power Slap version of Ultimate Fighter. So
Yeah,
at
it's
least I
like
think they're
tough
going to give
slap
this.
version. I didn't realize it was going to be like they
Yeah,
put them
neither did
all.
I. I thought it was going to be just actual fights, not
Yeah,
tough enough.
we're getting the slappers all in one house.
Yeah, we're getting the real world of slapping.
All my, like, if any, like, I mean, in the household I grew up in, slapper was quite the insult. So this is hilarious for me.
Fair enough. But
Is slap
I saw some sevens, some
Last
sixes, some
Supper?
7 and 5s. Fair enough.
Yes,
Thank you. So a 7. So what do you give
8 out of 10.
Dynamite? As I've got Chris
Yes.
Thomas versus Chris Kennedy as the first slap, round 1
You
in the
say it like we're
welterweight
shit. Like,
division.
who are you? Fucking.
Rudy Blue,
Are
how
you
are you?
Excalibur giving us names of people we don't know?
Well, we've got this is the first time I've ever watched this, so we've got a countdown clock.
Man, I watched, like, I mean, the ones over in Europe, they, like, I mean, they got a big audience. The place is packed, and they go insane for this shit. And I got pulled down. I told you, a pretty substantial.
Oh, Jesus!
Yeah, they ain't fucking around.
And see, that's already scary right there, as it is, as the man already stiffened up like fucking Tua Tagovailoa on a fucking football field.
First slap of the show.
And
down.
Down goes who's his name? Down goes who's his name?
Why is there a clock? Why is there a timer? Okay, you have 30 seconds.
That's aggressive. That's aggressive. Like, I'm all for watching UFC fights and knockout compilations and shit, but that's normally not within 30 seconds of like ding of like just blatant.
Dude, it gives
like,
me.
I'm gonna just sit there and eat that.
Yeah,
like,
childhood flashbacks of like, come here. No, when I come there, you're gonna whoop my ass. Come
One
here.
of the 5 fingers stand in the face.
Whap.
Right.
KUSHIDA underrated. KUSHIDA's excellent. He's only underrated in North America.
They're having to remind this dude where he is. That's not good. How do you start your show off of, well, you know what we're going to put out there? The first guy gets concussed the shit out of.
Absolutely. Would you not start, if you were going to introduce everybody to the slap championship of the world, would you not do it with an outright knockout to start the show? Absolutely.
In Attitude Era times on Spike TV, yeah, sure. On TBS, debatable.
This is where things are changing, man. Things are changing.
Fair enough.
Smack the shit out of that man.
So
Dana's like my wife.
Chris Thomas going in the house in the welterweight division. I guess we're going to call this like the see money. Yeah,
Power Slap founder. I'm shocked that this is being aired. 7 out of 10.
I thought this got pulled when he had his whole shit with his wife.
That's what I mean. It's too ironic. Listen, I'm not mocking what happened. That's not a funny topic. But I mean, irony, like, fucking life gives you comedy sometimes, right, guys? I can't be alone on this shit.
Life is a twisted black comedy. I feel.
It really is. But with that being said, AEW tonight for me, 7. I think there was real high points, but I do think there was real low points, and there was a lot of things I didn't love. I kind of wanted more sentiment tonight. I don't know what their plans are, but I'm really surprised there wasn't a little bit more from them.
Fair enough. I'll go.
Like, we've given more of a tribute. Sorry to interrupt.
I'll go with a 7.5 when it comes to Dynamite.
Okay, so I'm not that far off.
No, I was right around there with you of
Mm-hmm.
7.5, maybe an 8. We did have some great matches with Darby and KUSHIDA, and especially with Danielson and Bandito, and I didn't mind Top Flight versus the Young Bucks.
Oh, that was a decent match. True.
Right. So I think that there was more potential that outweighed more good that outweighed the negative, but it's still it's an interesting time right now in pro wrestling. I'll say that at least an interesting 24 hours.
Oh, absolutely, man. And it's been a crazy times. And obviously, you know,
Is that Braun Strowman?
Shut up.
It looks goddamn like him. Ryan Phillips looks like Wish.com Strowman. Bald head and beard and half a sleeve of tattoos all.
What's up, Jake? Dana White is the 5. Yeah, no kidding. I couldn't believe that. I had to look that up because I didn't believe that was true. But little Dana White did good for himself.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that Hunter Dana White's himself in a situation with a sale, but we've got Rob Perez versus Ryan Phillips in the heavyweight division right now. So round 1, can we get a fight that goes past round 1?
I mean, dude, heavyweights, shit.
Oh, and I like how there's a judge that has to officiate like the windup. Oh yeah, on the fucking chin and talking shit back. That's the best you got, bitch. That's the best you can do.
I got the one-eyed pirate.
Arr, matey. I eat that. He's even saying I eat that. Like, all right, I'm going for Rob Perez here. If man's just talking all the shit after he just took a heavyweight slap right to the face.
No. You shit a little when someone pulls that shit on you. When you lay one in good and they just start talking shit back, you're like, oh fuck.
Right. If you give them your best and they just eat it and keep coming, you're like, oh.
He threw the round thingy at him.
The pool noodle. Oh, man just looks at him, smiles. Oh, he goes to dap him and have you ever seen a man as he goes through the no hair?
Yeah, that's rude.
Dana saying he wants both these guys in here, so it doesn't matter who wins. Is this a win you're in, or is this just
it's a win you're in? It feels like an audition, but I got the impression, I mean, I think if you knock someone out with a slap, you should make the house, no?
Well, I think that's a given, but Dana's out there saying I want both of them in.
That's I eat that. Okay. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, our Dynamite stream has come to an end where we haven't had much to say about it. We're kind of laughing about men slapping themselves right now.
Right. I know we've got...
he glanced.
Talking all of the trash, and I guess like I was saying before, it's more celebrating everything that's going on. And I figured Jay Briscoe, being enjoying watching.
Be a fan of an old slap
boys drag out dog shit out of each other. Oh, he wobbly, got the wobbly legs. Man's with the stanky leg.
So you have 30 seconds. You have a 30-second time clock. Your feet have to be outside of that square box. And you're not allowed to move your feet. This is all like shot put style. You gotta just
sit there and eat that. Yeah, man got the stanky leg.
I like when a man when you see someone who gets wobbled and they're trying to play it off like they're not. Woo! You're like,
right, yeah.
Oh man, we might have to cover this more often. This is ridiculous. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, this might become the after show for Dynamite here.
But, shit.
What wrestler do you... Gunther?
Gunther, Brock, Braun.
Brock's a harder punch.
Ooh, yeah, but I imagine
third slap.
Him slapping you would be like getting hit by a door, no?
It'd be like, it'd be like getting hit with a fucking cinder block. It'd be a bear paw hitting you. It's going to hit your entire head. Like, it's not just your cheek or anything. It's taking everything from the top of your head to your jaw.
Damn.
Are there like 3 rounds? Is this,
Dude, how does this not lead to instant violence? Like, I don't know if I could take a slap like that and not just grab the guy. Like, I don't know. Is it a hockey thing where you're compelled to just jersey
the guy?
Welcome
to 2022's over the top. We had the Stallone movie with fucking arm wrestling. I'm waiting for the power slap movie. About man with the little bit of the stanky leg.
Right.
But he came back around there. So end of round 3. But
Speaking of somebody that packs a huge slap, I'm sure my man Victor here, clean you out pretty good, pretty quick. Big old heavy hand.
We got new stream slapped to the titles. Let's
Right?
go. Oh God.
So how many
We might
rounds
just be
does
the
this
added
go
bonus
for?
onto it, but yeah.
How many rounds does
Scorecard.
this go for?
How do you judge this?
How do you? He has got good technique. Good technique.
He's got a bigger forearm.
Oh, the dumbest
He
shit.
slapped harder. Like
Oh
he
wait,
made
so
his
it goes
went
to the
louder.
judges.
So Rob Perez with the win. Well, I think
Big dude getting in the house,
with discount Strowman got the wobbly legs, the stanky legs. So I think and man takes off his shirt and everything. Rob Perez taking off his shirt and celebrating.
Rob Perez knows he's on TV and wants to make
it.
it.
Absolutely. I'm gonna show up.
He sees those cameras. 3 rounds. Thank you, JV. It's fucking nonsense.
But so he has one eye. What?
Yeah, he's a pirate.
Army matey.
How do you beat a guy who's already lost an eye? I mean,
does he still have nerves there?
Yeah, like this part of his face is
right. Is that not number?
All right.
So Ryan Phillips is going in because Rob Perez, who won, couldn't get medically cleared. So then why the fuck did you let him compete? You can't get medically cleared, so we're not gonna, we're gonna bring you in. You're gonna win.
We liked you. We think you'll make entertainment.
We really liked you, but you can piss off.
Yeah. We think this is fucking hell.
Oh, what the hell? What? Everybody's now just wanting us to just commentate on their shows. That is when we do a membership and get a Patreon and all of the stuff. We'll do stuff like that of movie reviews or commentary tracks. Yeah. We'll, I guess, watch River Monsters. Mm-hmm. God,
River Monsters. Jesus Christ.
Right. Oh, the fact that there's like local indie shows on
you see the clip they're showing where like it's a barrel and there's a fence and it's SF in the background? Man, I've watched a shit ton of that.
Dude's just in there with a sweater and everything. Like this reminds me of like the Tough Man competitions where it's like, and Jim Bob from down the street.
This is the best if you're a bar owner right now, this is the best idea ever. People start getting heated. You pull them in the back, and you have this little room set up.
Liabilities, my guy.
Let them slap the shit out of each other. Wait, was that Enzo?
You got to sign a fucking waiver then, I guess, because goddamn, this has Spike TV written all over it. This feels like this should be followed up by the Man Show. Ziggy Zaggy, oi, oi, oi.
John is on the fucking money, buddy.
Yeah.
Because one feels new and exciting, and the other just feels like I've seen that already today.
Right.
But
sometimes it's nice to mix it up with just watching people slap the dog taste out of it.
Yeah, like fuck it. I don't want to think.
Wait, was that Enzo? No, that guy looked like his name should be like, it looked like fucking Dutch Mantel. Young version of Dutch. Ron Bada. His nickname is Wolverine. Oh, they even have monikers. Where's He Hate Me from the XFL with this shit?
Yeah.
Darius Mata Verona. Darius the Destroyer.
So will they do
6 minutes long? Goddamn.
Right. So are they going to do like activities in the house where like they have like team games? Are they going to is there going to be like training sessions where we see them like just at the
gym?
They
all just play that carnival game with the fucking punching bag.
Yeah, they're just your turn, Jim.
You scored 600. You get immunity this week. You can't be voted out of the house.
Fucking Homer Simpson would win slap fight. He's a condition called Homer Simpson. Yes.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Honestly,
slap Jesus. Michael Slap Jesus Smith.
What?
Oh God, I'm already halfway pulling for this guy because he looks crazy as a mother. If Russell Brand was a fucking MMA fighter, this is what this guy would look like.
Dude. Yeah, I'm kind of with Slap Jesus here.
Pause.
How do you bet against Slap Jesus? You can't bet against Slap Jesus. Is that
sacrilegious to bet against Slap Jesus?
Oh, fuck. And the other guy, his fingers look like fucking, like, they're long. Like, I don't know if they would be like getting brushed.
Is that a foul? A technical foul if you cut somebody with you open them the hard way, you cut them with your fingernail?
Right?
Man's got some color.
No, dude, fuck that. Right?
Like
I
I
don't
said,
know. You clap. I think you're supposed to try and avoid the ear, but if you get clapped in the ear, man, that's a rough day.
oh, that could break a fucking eardrum.
Oh, easy. Ask Roman Reigns.
Oh, and then Roman got his little payback there.
See, we always
KJ
tie
Nick,
it
I've
back
seen
into
it way
wrestling.
too many times between drunks. That's why I can't watch the slap show. Listen, Larry, I kind of get that as somebody who has bounced before and everything and done security. So, but to me, I've seen enough of it as it's fucking funny at this point. Of go ahead, you can have that. That ain't even what I'm mad at.
Right.
Y'all beat the piss out of each other. That means I don't have to do it.
Yeah, that's generally my take.
Right.
Why are you bringing me into your shit?
Right.
Whack-a-mole.
Whack. No, for the mini games and shit like that. Like they have to do.
Right.
There's going to be a dunk take and shit. If you can hit a home run with hitting this baseball with your hands.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Well, everybody uses papers like a motherfucker.
They're like, this was a terrible idea. This game's been going on for 3 days. These motherfuckers.
Right. And we're in the 95th round of rock, paper, scissors here in the house, and we're still on paper v. paper.
But how does it work? Like, I mean, if you get drilled, like that's what they said. The guy wasn't medically cleared, but maybe like he won. But when he got in the back and they do like the little check, they're like, you might have won, you crazy bastard, but you're concussed. We can't move forward with you.
Fair enough. Well, and it's even like you watch a UFC fight or anything, and you know they have X amount of time that they have to have on a layoff if this is run by an athletic commission and all of that before they can compete in another fight again. So if all of these guys are fighting, like, do they then turn around and they're able to fight? You know, and especially when they're just straight up slapping each other in the head, do they turn around and you can fight next week? Like this has got to be a medical nightmare. I feel.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't like. That's where I'm like so caught on it. I've watched the women's division of Power Slap called. The women are funny though. Like they do have a women's like the women do this. Recently, I saw a video going around the internet. It can't be real, but the women were strictly smacking each other's ass and.
Well, I don't want to know what site you saw that on. We'll leave that comment there. Of
you know what? I don't have to go looking. Twitter and Instagram just feed shit up to you, and you're like, oh fuck, I didn't know that was a thing.
Right. Would you rather take a chop from Gunther, or a chop from Braun Strowman, or a chop from Paul White? Big Show.
You would rather like Big Show would be your.
I would rather take a chop from Big Show than the other two gentlemen.
Oh, Big Show's such a big bastard.
But his hand will go across like my entire body, so my whole body to absorb.
Yeah, absorb it a little better.
He's the oldest out of the three, so he's not going to have as much juice in that. I feel.
What was the other option?
Strowman or Gunther, as we've got Michael Smith versus Alex Asbury in the welterweight division. So we've got Slap Jesus right now starting off with round one.
I'll take Braun. I don't know. I mean, as of right now, man, Paul's old.
I'll just avoid.
Yeah, I'll go Paul. I'll go with you
with the quickness.
Right? Just get it over with.
Just no.
Yeah, this Alex Asbury guy, he's just lanky. Like, I'm curious
about. You got that whip action. I hate that we're doing analysis on slapping, but
there you go. That was a short slap. Like that was a how dare you slap.
Yeah.
He didn't lean in. He was just like, pop. Like that's
2 for the show. Oh, this is what he's doing to warm up. 1 for the money, 2 for the show. Oh. Steaky leg. Oh, Michael Smith almost went out like a light bulb on that one.
What do I know about? Apparently, the guy with the long fingers packs a smack.
Yeah, well, like I said, got that whip.
Look at the size of this man's hand.
Long arm and everything.
It's pushcart time. Oh!
What?
Oh, fuck.
Who would win in a slap? Hathaway or Paul Heyman? I'm taking Heyman.
I'm going Paul. Just you got more weight to put behind it.
I feel like
check
Heyman's
that
been in
out.
more slap fights than Stokely. Stokely would be more. If we're talking throwing hands, I'd take Stokely. If we're talking just a slap off, I'll take Heyman. Oh,
What did he
so
say?
slap number 2. Oh! Alex is down. Alex is down. But he's back up.
Oh,
Well,
I can't believe.
he said, "Where's my Jesus freaks at?" I don't know if I can say that. I'd not get in trouble, but
I mean, yeah. I mean,
oh, Alex is bleeding from the nose. Alex Asbury right now bleeding from the nose after slaps.
yeah, like that's concerning. Oh, that again. He might be Slap Jesus, dude. You're not wrong.
He's literally got blood on his shirt. Yeah.
Yo, how hard
He
do you have
split
to
his
get?
lip. That's what it was. I thought it
We
was
got
from his nose.
juice.
He split his lip.
Oh, it's his
Oh,
lip.
so
I was
they're
gonna
calling
say.
it because he had split his lip so bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how hard do you got to get
What
slapped
is
in the
that?
side of the face to make your nose bleed?
Well, could that be a stray fingernail or anything if we were
Could be a
this is so
fucking
weird to
brain
try and do
hemorrhage.
breakdown of. Oh,
He split
and
his
so they're
fucking.
talking about inviting them both back. So it's not a win and you're in. It's I guess just it's an audition straight up of if we like you. And oh, his whole side of his face is bloody as shit.
Doctor recommendations stop. Wow. I don't know. Gonna go. Did you just say Newcourt? Nice. All right, Larry, go enjoy Newcourt.
Night court.
Night Court. What did I
There you
say?
go. You were like New
I'm
Court, New
mixing
Court.
up my shows altogether.
Right.
Bob who? No, Night Court.
We're watching, we have professional slapping on TV. We have Night Court, and what was somebody else going to watch? Or we were talking about River Monsters. Like, what is on
You know what?
TV in 2023?
Yeah, I think I'm good to head towards the door. As
Fair
fun
enough.
as this has been, this has probably been the most fun of the day. It was an extremely heavy day, and I actually thought this, seeing everyone come together has been really nice, really amazing to have everybody show up, be on the stream. We appreciate all of you. Like we said last night, rest in peace to Jay Briscoe. The man will go down as a legend. The man went down as a champion. And the sad part of a fan is that we won't get to see where he could have gone. The saddest part of this whole story is there's a family that lost a very big piece. They lost a father, a husband, a son, a brother. So thoughts and prayers to everyone out there. We appreciate everyone out there. And as we said many times last night, do not forget life is short. It can be over in a blink of an eye. So share some love, put your heart on your sleeve, treat everybody with respect and kindness, and try and live every moment to your fullest because you don't know when it's going to be your last. You don't want the last day on this planet to be a shitty one now, do you? So
Absolutely. Tell
keep that
somebody
in perspective. All you, Nick.
I was going to say, just tell somebody that you love them today. And absolutely. I think tonight was very much more celebrating everything that kind of Jay gave us while he was here and everything like that. We got to watch some fantastic matches, and I got a lot of happiness from Jay Briscoe. So I'd rather think about that, or at least try and think about the good times than the tragic events. So absolutely, just love you guys.
Absolutely, guys. And for all the fans that tune in, and don't forget, make your comments down below. It does help us, play with that algorithm. So make comments in the spot below, especially if you're not watching live. Let us know your thoughts. Give some love for Jay. Talk about the shows if you want. Don't forget, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Discord. We got more options coming your way soon. But with all that being said, we will be back tomorrow night, and then we're rolling into the weekend. Doubleheader Friday, Saturday, 2-for-1 special, 2 shows at the same time, both hardcore, both death matches, XPW, GCW. It's going to be a hell of a night. It's going to be a lot of fun. We love you too, Victor, and we love everyone else who tunes into any of this. We appreciate you. And what actually felt like a really heavy day, which is crazy because I never met Jay Briscoe. I don't know Jay Briscoe, but it's amazing the impact people can have on your lives without even meeting them. So, big shout out and nothing but love, man. We appreciate all of it, and from everybody in this chat to Nick, to CJ, to Cliff, the whole family, everyone else. Thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, it made the night easier. This was my favorite part of today, was the last 2.5 hours here with everybody. So, like I said, don't take life for granted. Find a reason to put a smile on your face. And if you can't find one, come here. We'll give you one.
I was gonna say absolutely like you just said. Of just I can't piggyback on that too much, but I will just say absolutely like you said. Of this was my release from all the shitty news and everything. And if we can be the little bit like how Jay was, even with us, with all of us as wrestling fans and everything, of being that, you know, little bit that made your shitty day brighter or anything like that, if we can do that for you, then absolutely I'm fucking winning. So just, I don't know what to say. I love
That's
you.
it. Love you,
Night.
bro. Everyone
Have a
else,
night.
like we said, rest in peace, Jay. Thoughts and prayers with his entire family and those 2 little girls. And we will see everybody tomorrow, folks. And until then, we will definitely see you on the flip side. Thank you so much.